The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
What can be done to try and make the Jets a competent football team? We're talking about the changes that have to happen. It's the Jake Asman Show. Nick Shine will join us. Let's hit it and get it started.
The 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go. Met fans, I feel your pain. God, if you're a football fan in New York, if you are a baseball fan in New York, and by football fan, I mean a Jet fan, not great the last 48 hours. A lot to talk about with the Jets, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Yankees from last night. Let's say hello to a man who has returned from South Florida, where he watched the Jets drop to 0-4 in person. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Nick Shine Show, Nick Shine, joins us now.
Buddy?
Nick, happy hump day.
Happy hump day. How are you, my friend? What's going on?
I'm hanging in, man. You know, the pain never ceases to stop. I will say this. You got to believe that the Yankees can find a way to win tonight. You have to. You have to. So I won't do the full bloom panic just yet, but man, between the Jet debacle right into the Yankee debacle, it has not been fun.
I'll say, I've been saying this for a couple of years, but I've said this year since about June. I don't care how this year ends. If this year gets Boone fired, it's a great success for me as a Yankee fan. I'm done.
The problem is they bring in someone who's just like Aaron Boone, and the problem is it's a front office that basically controls a lot of these moves.
It's yesterday. I'm scoreboard watching. I'm at work, and Freed's doing great, awesome. Okay, take him out early. Instantly, the lead goes away. So I can't stand them. It makes it difficult for me to enjoy being a Yankee fan while Boone's the manager.
Well, especially when you see the manager for the Red Sox, who always outmanages Aaron Boone when they're head-to-head in any big spot. We've seen this so many times. All right, yeah. I digress. We'll get back into baseball, I'm sure, later on in the show. We begin, though, talking about the New York Jets and some changes that need to happen, right? At 0-4, you look at where they are. And I'm just going to put up the defensive stats, courtesy of Zach Rosenblatt's tweet from yesterday. 0 takeaways. Only team in the NFL with 0. 6 total sacks, with 4 of them coming in week 1. 0 in week 4 against a quarterback in Tua that we know is very pressure prone when you could get him off his spot. He'll make mistakes. They didn't do that. Didn't hit him once. 27 plus points allowed in 3 of their 4 games. 22 in the other. They're 30th in defensive EPA per dropback. They are allowing opponents to score either a field goal or a touchdown in over half of their drives this season, 54.8%, which is the third highest rate in the NFL. At this point, when you're about to face an offense that's the best in the league, the Dallas Cowboys, if you are the New York Jets, you have to try different things defensively. If Glenn doesn't take over the defense or basically say, hey, Steve Wilkes, we're doing it this way. Different schemes, different looks, specific players getting an opportunity. Hopefully, by the way, Jermaine Johnson's back this week. Then it will be another thing I will point to that tells me Aaron Glenn is in over his head and is not the right coach for this team. And I don't care if we're just 4 games in. I got to see something this week.
I'm nowhere near ready to agree with that. But say this. There are some things they can do. Buffalo Jet fan tweeted something out last week after the 3rd game that has your defensive coverage breakdowns and the percentages. And the Jets were the only team in the NFL to never play cover 6. 4 of the top 5 defenses in the NFL play cover 6 more than anyone else. Maybe we start to find a way to implement that a little bit into the coverage, because when you look at the other defenses, it seems to be successful. Now, if you're going to blitz, you got to get home. Otherwise, you're just creating gaps in coverage for them to throw to. So it's a double-edged sword. We're not getting home. When Quinnen and Will aren't getting there, I think JJ coming back, hope to God this week, with the amount that Dak Prescott throws, you need to get pressure there. That would be a great addition. I can't believe how horrible we are collectively as a team with covering play action rollouts. I mean, Jake Ferguson's going to catch 100 passes on Sunday.
This is what I'm
They're
talking
just
about,
going to
man.
throw it to him on play action instead of flat time and time again. He had 7
We have a
catches
defensive
against Green
coach.
Bay, and
Wake up. Let's make some plays, man. It shouldn't be this bad. I mean, it's that's what bothers me the most. Just like how awful this defense is. Look, he's not going to get fired if they lose on Sunday. But once again, as the losses continue to pile up, it's going to be tougher and tougher for people defending Aaron Glenn and convince he's the right guy to point to anything that you could show me that it would indicate such a thing. Make some adjustments, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's bad luck too, right? The Buffalo game. Michael Carter makes the play, knocks it down, and gets him off the field on 3rd down. Clemens hits Josh Allen, automatic 1st down. Times that we make plays, we shoot ourselves in the foot and we get a penalty. So we just got to clean it all up. It's got to be crisper. It's got to be more disciplined. It's got to be more technically sound. And goddamn, make the tackles, man. Stevens is the only guy consistently tackling. He's got 14 tackles the last 2 weeks with 1 missed tackle. And his coverage rate is much better. So for all of you that were claiming he was a bust week 1, he was actually our best defender this week.
Yeah, to be fair, he's played certainly a lot better, but they need more from him in the turnover department, as they do from Sauce, as they do from really everyone in that secondary. Yeah. You brought up Clemens. That's another thing, though. Why are they continuing to play this guy? That's on the coach. That's on the defensive coordinator. You keep putting him in spots where he could hurt you. And it's just some of these shortcomings are due to lack of talent. I think we all could acknowledge that, right? But they're choosing to play Tony Adams over Malachi Moore. They're choosing to play Kiko Malagoa for 90% of their snaps on Monday night. They're choosing to not go to a bigger front. I know Connor Rogers has talked about this, and he mentioned it on the Jets pregame show with Bart Scott and Willie Colon, and they agreed with him, right? 2 former players. Why not use Quinnen Williams and use a bigger front so you don't have to play Clemens as much, right? Use Clemens, use Quinnen and line him up against an edge and let him try and get some reps that way. Be creative, because we've seen nothing. And as Robbie Sabo talked about yesterday, it just feels like it's so easy for the offenses the Jets are going up against. They're not fooled. They get so comfortable. And I think it's just really tough to play defense that way when the team you're going against has no fear of you doing anything different to really confuse them.
Yeah, agreed. You can change things schematically, but players still got to play, right? You still got to beat your man. You still got to tackle the guy. You still got to cover the guy. So I think the coaches can put them in a better position to succeed, but it still comes down to them doing it. Now, possibly getting Brownlee, who's a very good tackler, added to the mix. Getting Jermaine back, who's very good with, making his plays in the run game and the pass game. I think you could see the defense get better talent back, but you still got to go make the plays. You still got to go beat your man. You got to get it in the way of a pass and catch the goddamn ball. You got to knock the ball out or fumble. We got to make the plays. It's mathematically impossible to not recover 11 straight fumbles. That's just absurd. You got to make a goddamn play. Is it awareness? What is our awareness level? 0 if it's Madden? It's frustrating, as we all know, but I think there's talent there. You just got to find a way to bring it all together. And that's on the job of the coaches, whether it's schematic changes, whether it's play call changes, a play caller change. There's something there that can fix this, because I think we all agree there's talent on this defense, but the talent just either isn't being put in the right situation to make those plays. So you got to make a move eventually. I mean, how long are you going to let on?
Nick, do us a favor. Reset your StreamYard, because there's a big delay and your internet is pretty choppy. So we'll bring Nick back once he gets that set. I do want to talk about our daily raffle prize, because I'm trying, people. I'm trying to keep the shows rolling here and give you guys a reason to tune in despite this atrocious start to the Aaron Glenn era. We have a signed Joe Klecko jersey up for grabs at the end of the show today. So if you want to enter for that, you can get the channel membership. And for those who missed it yesterday, we did announce our 3 winners in our weekly raffle series. So let's share the prizes for the top 3 for next week's Asmaniac raffle. It features a signed Broadway Joe Namath helmet, a signed Wayne Corbett football, and a signed Sauce Gardner jersey as our top 3 prizes in the raffle. A couple membership shout outs, and then Nick's internet hopefully works, and we'll bring him back and we'll continue to talk more about the state of this team. A shout out to Bobby Midnight. He's the first to enter today's raffle. He gifted, before the show even started, 5 channel memberships.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
Now, why did I play that video? For no reason other than it's effing hilarious. And Joe B was in rare form yesterday, for those of you who didn't watch that. Bobby, thank you. Shout out to Tyrone Garcia, who's in our raffle for 1. He became a channel member and signed himself up to be in the raffle. Black Gypsy gifted 1 membership to the community. Ken O'Connell became a channel member as well, so he's in the raffle. And then our guy, Bo C, gifting 5 memberships to the community. So Bo enters the Asmaniac raffle now for 5.
Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball. Bo knows tennis. Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows channel memberships.
If you got a membership from Bo C, make sure you thank him for his support. A couple super chats as we wait for Nick's internet to work. Tyrone checks in. He says, okay, let's pass on the emotions. We are what we are, but fans like me are stuck with this team. Been with them too long, 50-plus years. I have no choice to say, please, football gods, give us a break. Go Jets. I want to make it clear. We are 4 games in, and it is way too early to talk about Glenn being fired and he's not the right coach. But I'm just telling you where the conversation's headed with every loss. And it's not just the losing. I think that's what people have to understand. It's how these games are playing out. It's comments from the head coach saying things are going to be different. We're going to go out there and we're going to fix the penalty problem. We're not going to beat ourselves. And if you beat yourself, you're not going to play. And then Isaiah Williams fumbles the kickoff in the 3rd quarter and then is still out there on punt return team to then fair catch at the 2. And Aaron Glenn's asked about it yesterday and basically said, well, he's got to learn. It's like, whoa. You already cut Xavier Gibson, right? So I just think there's a lot of things that have been hypocritical so far. And how they're losing is very SOJ. Even though Glenn says they're not, they are. So that's why I think it's not just the losing, it's how they're losing. We could accept losses if it wasn't the Jets just beating themselves. They're just not good enough. The quarterback's not playing well enough. I think Fields has played well enough for this team to, in his 3 starts, right? 2-1. Which, if you remember, the storyline with this team was the defense will play well and give them a chance. But you have a new offensive coordinator. You have a lot of new pieces on offense. You have a quarterback who's been up and down his whole career, 3rd team in 3 years. That's going to be the reason why the Jets just aren't going to be good enough to win enough games. Fields has played well enough to be 2-1 right now. I think that's what's concerning. It's like this defense is falling apart, and he hired Steve Wilkes, right? They chose to pay Brandon Stevens big money. Like these are moves they made. They chose to keep Clemens. They chose to not add any edge rushers. They chose to go out there and re-sign Sherwood, not add enough depth seemingly at linebacker. And they couldn't fix all their problems in one offseason. But some of the guys we've seen play well under the previous staff have regressed. So I think that's some of the concerns we're talking about. With that said, before we bring the great Nick Shine back on the program, we say thank you to the great Rick Kent, who enters our signed Joe Klecko jersey raffle for 5. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you, Mr. Rick Kent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rick, thank you. Here are the 10 people I happen to have up. They got a membership from Rick. It's Papa Jet 73, Danette Randall, Just the Tipman, Stacks Timing, D Van G, the P-Word Assassin. That's right. Anderson Simpson, Ant Banks, and Pete G. All right. Nick Shine is back with us. His picture, some are saying, has never been clearer. Nick.
Thank you, sir.
Do you hear me?
I hear you. You hear me?
I do.
Right. You look great.
Fantastic. Let's continue here. Robert with a super chat. He says, never thought I'd miss Hackett and Ulbrich. Let's not go crazy with the missing Hackett. I don't think Engstrand has been a huge problem. I think he's he's working with his hands tied in passing concepts because of the lack of weapons. And they've still done a good job of getting Garrett Wilson the ball. They need to do it more, but Garrett Wilson is still producing. It seems like he's taking another level in his game. I think it was good to see Mason Taylor and Bob. The running schemes have been really good. The offensive line coach, I think, has done a good job so far. Like Membu, there's talk about him getting offensive rookie of the year votes, how well he's played at right tackle. So I'm not really down on Engstrand. He's a first-time play caller. There's some things we can nitpick and critique. I think he's going to get better as the year goes on. To me, the story of this team has been the self-inflicted wounds and the defense just completely crap in the bed. Even if you thought the defense wouldn't be as good, I don't think anyone pictured it being one of the worst in the NFL through the first 4 games.
Yeah, you're losing 3 games by 1 score. That's the difference between playoff teams and non-playoff teams. Your record in 1-score games, right? We see those statistics every year as the season goes on, and you got to find ways to win those games. Now, young coaching staff, new quarterback, there's growing pains, and I think if we can have the same urgency, I said the other day, just put 13-0 in your head when the game starts for Engstrand and Glenn. Put 13-0. You're down. Coach like you're down 13-0, like you do when you're down 13 or 17 points. Have that sense of urgency to go get a score. Have that sense of urgency to move the ball down the field. Have that ability to let your quarterback throw the ball downfield. Jake, he's throwing the ball downfield well. When they know we're going to throw the ball downfield,
right?
Why not let him do it early in the game when they might not expect it? Like, you're trying to move the ball late in the game when they're allowing things 10, 15 yards underneath. Do that when there's one safety high. Allow him to check to a pass. Throw one to Arian Smith when he's in the slot. Throw one of those fades from the 50-yard line out towards the pylon. See if you can go make a play. Do something to take the pressure off and now open up Breece Hall, who's primarily going to be your runner, right? You're going to have to give him a bigger workload than you've been giving him now that Allen's out. And we'll get into that with him. Shouldn't even have been back there to begin with. But there's ways that you can attack and take advantage. Don't coach scared. Scared money don't make money, right, Jake? That's that old saying. Go out there, have a plan, put the pressure on the defense instead of trying to go 3.5 yards and just barely get a first down. Try to be an explosive offense, because guess what? Those 3.5 now turn into 5.5 because you're backing the safeties off. Your linebackers are worried about pass coverage. You could start to, and then you got someone like Breece, who showed it a little bit the other day, start to break some runs. Maybe now he's going to turn the corner if he gets an extra step. But you got to have that threat. You can't go out there and not attack in today's NFL.
I couldn't agree more. But I also think, like, you look at the first drive, they're running the ball as well as you could run it. Tanner Engstrand had some great calls. Like, that was the right approach. They used 6 linemen on some of those plays. They was just old school smash mouth football. And then Braylon Allen fumbled. And then I think a big problem for this team is, like, who are the leaders that could, like, step up and say, like, all right, our offense made a mistake. We're now going to go out there and we're going to get the ball right back to them. We're going to bail them out, not let Miami go 15 plays and 96 yards. You know what I mean? Like, where's the leadership on this team? Who could step up and make a play? And I look at a guy like Sauce, who's now the highest paid corner. Like, that 4th and goal, man, against Waller, you got to make a play there. Like, that's what you're paid to do. Like, that's the moment. So it's just, it's so frustrating. By the way, Papa Jet, shout out to you. We got you in the raffle. He says, for the Klecko jersey, come on, Jake. Throw Papa a bone. Papa, it's not me. It's the Wheel of Champs. Good luck. You're in
for Jake,
2.
Rig it. We know you rig everything. You
created
the Wheel of Names website that has over 1 billion spins, and we know the power that you have, Jake. Don't lie to us.
How dare you? Bo C checks in with a $10 super chat here. Thank you, Bo. We would be able to accept a loss if the team was operating as a cohesive unit. The coaching and player mistakes are mounting to astonishing levels. Can we watch a game free of mistakes and bad calls? I mean, 13 penalties, 9 of them on offense, 5 of them pre-snap. That's not a well-coached team. I'm sorry. That's unacceptable to have that happen. The 3 turnovers, the kickoff one, and then Isaiah Williams being back out there to fair catch a punt. Why? I thought we're holding guys accountable. That to me makes no sense.
Yeah. Like I said the other night when I called into your show, the special teams has really cost us 2 games. You look at the Gibson fumble in week 1, and then you look at the fumbles, and then this week, Williams after half, they get a short field. They punch it in. We're looking to close it down, make it 10-10, and now all of a sudden we're down 14 again, and we're playing catch up. So there's got to be changes made. I don't care if you put Quinnen Williams out there and just tell him take a knee in the end zone, don't return it. Just do something where we're not giving the ball away. And now Isaiah Davis, who's now your running back too, has been your best returner. You hope Nwangu gets back this week, and then you don't have to use Davis as your RB2, because pretty soon you're going to have to put Taylor at quarterback, and Fields will have to be your running back if we keep getting all these guys injured back there.
It's just mind-boggling how they had all summer to figure out the kickoff returner and punt returner situation. They go into it with Gibson, cost him a game.
Yeah.
Then they choose to sign Williams. He's horrific, and he's still here. They haven't cut him. He's got to be inactive on Sunday. Like, there's no way you could say if you make mistakes that hurt the football team, you're not going to play. Well, if he's active on Sunday, that's another strike for me against Aaron Glenn. Another thing I could point to where he's been hypocritical.
Yeah, I expect the move to be made, whether it's bringing up Pritchett, whether it's Nwangu coming back and taking the spot. I don't care. But, like, now you've cost us. And if you're going to be consistent with guys who cost us games not being here, it's time to make that move. Are you looking for a kick returner?
Now I'm looking for a kick returner, man. I don't know where they are.
You can pull one out from under the desk right here. I got one.
You want to know what I'm actually doing? I'm getting my helmet ready, Nick Shine.
Go, baby.
Let's go. Helmet's on. Want to know why? Burkinator just gifted 20 channel memberships, 100 spotties in the Klecko raffle for 20.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. 20 names to read off here. Burkinator, thank you. Hopefully you made it to your... I know, it looks ridiculous. I can't even hear you right now either because I had to take my headphones off. This is Mekhi Becton's helmet, though, so it's very big, as you can tell. Anyway, Burkinator, thank you for the 20 memberships. And when that happens, I either take out my umbrella or put my helmet on. So here we go. Burkinator, who was at the game like you were on Monday night, Nick, he gifted memberships to Dre Day of the Jet Fan. Is that the same person? Z Breathe, Joe Rano, Allen is so giddy the Jets stink, Adriano's Block, Salem, Aria Schneiden, New York Nick, Justin, Doan Syndrome, GTA IV Man, Carl Akamato, BP York, Iowa Jet Fan, my brother, Zach Asman, Stephen T, The Power, Jose Lopez, South End Auto Detailing, David A, and Alan, you have gonorrhea. All right. Those are the 20 names that just received a channel membership. On that note, let's continue the conversation now with the Nick Shine, who I actually could hear again. Let's see.
Okay.
Thank you. This one is from Mike, who says, I think we have 5 to 6 core/solid players. Everybody else is up for sale come next year, starting with a change at DC. What's your thoughts, Jake? Look, I think you could argue that you could make a change at coordinator right now. I just don't think Glenn's going to do it. I don't think he wants to do it because then all of a sudden, if it doesn't improve, if Glenn can't fix the defense, then he's the next guy people are going to come after, right? So I think it's like a strategy of like saving his own ass if he thinks this way of, let me wait a little bit longer because he's getting all the heat. And the second I make the change, then then I'm going to start getting the heat. But I do think Wilkes could be one and done. I don't know if Glenn wants to embarrass him by firing him mid-season. Could Glenn maybe behind the scenes be more involved with the defense? If I'm him, I would. That's what got me a head coaching role in the first place. That side of the ball, my area of expertise there. I don't think they're going to make a change at DC. I'm hoping though Glenn could say, look, it's not working what we're doing. We're going to do this. We're going to play these players. We're going to move Michael Carter to safety and try that. We're going to play AZ Thomas more. We're going to play Malachi Moore over Tony Adams. Like, I'm hoping we see some proactive changes, but here we are 4 games in. They haven't done it yet. So I don't know. I question if we're even going to see it in this game on Sunday. I really do.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the options, if you go from Wilkes, you're going to promote Chris Harris, Aaron Curry. Like, nobody on our coaching staff has experience calling a defense. So I would be very hesitant to go throw a guy into the fire like that. If you had a guy who's had experience sitting there, then you elevate him. But I'm not throwing a guy into the fire midweek and saying, hey, go be a defensive coordinator for the first time with very little prep for it. And I don't want Glenn doing it. So, I mean, if If they can't make the schematic changes and the play call changes and get Wilkes to improve, you're going to have to. I'm not ready to do that 4 weeks in. Like I said, we've lost 3 one-score games. If we're losing 30-6 every week, yeah, drastic changes need to be made. I think that the biggest thing we need to focus on is cleaning up the penalties and cleaning up the fumbles.
Yep.
If we do that, we're 3-1 right now, guys. We're 3-1.
Well, you give yourself a chance if you don't beat yourself in the NFL.
Yeah.
You're not going to win all these games, and there's some games you're just going to be out-talented. Like the Buffalo game, I think, is an example of that, where it just fell apart quick, and like,
Yeah,
they're just better than you. Okay, I could live with that.
and
But
that happens to every team. Every team gets losses like that.
it's how they're losing, though, man. Like if you beat yourself in this league, you don't have a shot when you're an imperfect team. Like you don't have as much talent as the great teams in the league. So that I agree with you. That's got to be the number one thing they clean up. And Glenn said they were going to clean it up, and they haven't yet. And that's incredibly disappointing. And I know it's early still, but we were sold a bag of goods. And let's not move the goalpost now. Oh, Jake, what did you expect? No one expected this team to be 0-4 right now. No chance. Not the way so many of you were talking about what you were going to do to Aaron Rodgers week 1. Oh, we're going to put him on his ass. Oh, we're going to knock him out. He's going to leave the game on a stretcher. The Steelers stink. Mike Tomlin's going to finish up. Oh, the 3-1. It's like, yeah, man, coaching matters. And right now, I don't think the Jets are a well-coached team, and that has to change. Hopefully we see some improvement here, because 4 games in, I've been very disappointed. I can't lie to anyone. I thought the coaching would look a lot better than what we have seen.
Yeah, I'm putting it more on the players. The players are the one fumbling. The players are the ones with the pre-snap penalties. You can only call the plays as coaches. And like I said, 3 one-score losses. Those self-inflicted wounds show up at the end of the game on the scoreboard.
They had 7 one-score losses last year, though.
Yeah, we got to find. We also led the league in penalties last year.
Right.
So
but
we have to find a way.
This is a theme with
instead of
coaching.
getting all these guys that Joe Douglas said love the game of football. How about just get guys who are smart at football? Can we change that? Can we put that on the little card that like we hand in? Like, is this guy smart at football? No. Okay, we're not going to draft him. Is this guy a half a step slower, but he's smart and never going to commit penalties? Okay, this is a guy we want on our football team. Can we get smart players?
But Nick, some of the players they brought in are the biggest culprits of this new regime I'm referring to.
Which guys?
If we're talking about smart football players and costly mistakes, I mean, Isaiah Williams was their guy after they already got rid of Gibson, who they didn't have to keep. They chose to keep. Also, we're talking about smart football players. If that's what they want, well, then why'd they keep Michael Clemens, who's not a smart football player? So we can't blame the previous regime for keeping a player we know is not any good, right? Alan Lazard has given them nothing. Why is he here? Josh Reynolds was their big move at receiver. They don't have any receivers right now. Like, they're the ones who traded up for Tyler Barron. They're the ones who gave Brandon Stevens $36 million. And look, he has been better the last couple of games, but still he hasn't been good overall. It's been a problem. So I get your point. They still need to get some of their guys, but some of their early moves that they made, they chose to do. Like they chose to pay Stevens. They chose to use a 3rd-round pick on A.Z. Thomas, and their secondary is probably the biggest weakness of their defense right now. Like that's a real problem.
Yeah, our biggest weakness is over the middle of the field. Right? We're getting killed on crossing routes. We're getting killed on play actions. That's where, and Dallas does that a lot. So if you can't rectify that, like I said, Ferguson and then Turpin on crossing routes are going to be 2 guys that you want to bet on FanDuel for Jake with the over. Ferguson had 7 catches the other day, and he might have more this week against us. They're going to run that ball up the middle with Williams, and then they're going to hit rollouts to Ferguson, and he's going to have a big day. They got to find a way to cover there.
Weesack says, will the paper bags come out on Sunday? I mean, if you've been watching the show the last couple of days, Weesack, we've had a couple callers call in with paper bags on their heads. I mean, it's going to be an environment.
For plastic bags over the Cowboys fans' heads. That would be something I support.
Could be a lot of Cowboys fans there, man. That's what happens when you go 0-4. Unreal. A couple super chats here, then we'll continue the conversation with Dick. Spencer Green checks in, says, Beast, by God, Bobby, hell, PBM, give us a damn tutorial on how to get a turnover. Beast, we need you. You have been slacking at your job. Beast is apparently on the road today, whatever that means. So he's not currently on hold. Maybe he's shopping again. We know what happened last time. Ladies and gentlemen, Spencer, speaking of turnovers, this is for you.
Do they ever force a damn turnover?
Joe, the answer is no, they do not. The Jets are the only team in the NFL now that does not have a turnover.
I said yesterday on my show, when we recover a fumble, it's going to be like when we got the against the Chargers when we got.
Were you at that game? I was there.
Roughing the passer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we met that day for the first time at the Talking Jets tailgate, and the Bronx cheer came out, right?
Oh my
like
God.
the sarcastic cheer came out when we got a roughing the passer penalty.
That was the loudest moment of the game. Like the crowd, it was like a game-winning touchdown. That is what it sounded like in the crowd when Zach got the roughing call finally.
That's what it's going to be when we recover a fumble. That's what it's going to be when we get a turnover. Like the initial cheer is going to happen for the play itself. Then it's going to be like, hey, we finally did it. All right.
It's unreal.
Oh, it sucks being a Jet.
Unreal. By the way, just to revisit the other point Mike made, he says, I think we have 5 to 6 core/solid players. These are the guys that I wouldn't think about trading, just off the top of my head. Garrett Wilson, Olu Fashanu, and Armand Membu, because you need bookend tackles in this league. So, to me, it's really those 3. I wouldn't trade Quinnen either. I know there's going to be like a conversation about Q. You know, at what point does his play drop off? Because he's still elite at age 28. But defensive tackles, look at Calais Campbell. He's like in his late 30s, still playing at a high level. Like Quinnen still has at least another 3 to 4 years of being an elite defensive tackle. So I would put probably those 4. I would have said Sauce at the beginning of the year. I've been a Sauce defender, but he's got to play better. I'm not going to sit here and blindly defend him. I need him to make more plays.
Garrett and Sauce are locked in. Like they're untradeable because of the contracts.
Yeah, but he said how many core/solid players do we have? Like guys that are like blue chip, like you feel good, like you're not going to consider moving them. Not that I think they'd move Sauce. You can't, as you said, like it would be a huge dead cap hit if they traded them.
Yeah. I mean, Quinnen, if you want to do a reset and get picks, Quinnen would be the guy because after this year, Quinnen has no guaranteed money on his deal. So it's an easy move for the Jets to make. If someone wants to come in and if you allow him and his agent to seek a trade, that's the easiest guy to move with no cap ramifications and immediate return pre-draft. Like
I'd keep
I don't want to. I will say I do not want to. But mathematically, that's the guy that would garner you the most return and no hit against the cap.
I would not trade Quinnen. I'd put Quinnen on that list.
I agree. I would not do it. I would rather just say, hey, we're going to guarantee you money. I mean, he's highly rated right now this year. I know he's not getting to the quarterback and getting a know what he is, but I think Jermaine's
he's making plays though.
He's great in the run game. He's been great in the run game, but
the run defense has not been their problem. Like the Buffalo game, that was a shit show. But like the Jets have stopped the run this year. Like their issues have been the pass defense has been horrendous. Yeah. Jet Life in the Asmaniac Raffle. For those tuning in late, we got an awesome prize. It's a signed Joe Klecko jersey. And this week, our weekly prizes, for those who missed the announcement, 3 awesome ones. The granddaddy of them all, if you will. A Joe Namath signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed football, and a Sauce signed jersey. Jet Life, thanks for your support. As always, you are in the Asmaniac Raffle for 5.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Thank you, Jet Life. Rick Kent checking in with a $10 super chat. When Steve Wilkes was hired in the press conference, AG said that Wilkes was a mentor to him. He's not getting fired. I tend to agree, Rick. I also don't think Glenn wants to make that what would be perceived by those in the league. Oh, it's a panic move. Like you're 4 games in and you're already fired your defensive coordinator. I mean, if this continues and they're winless, at their bye week, maybe it's a different type of conversation. But I think Wilkes is going to end up being one and done here, the way this is going. Because, someone's going to have to be the fall guy for this. And if you go back to Detroit, in year 1, Dan Campbell fired Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator that season. And then he promoted Ben Johnson. And that's kind of when the turnaround started for the Lions, for those who remember that. So if you want to compare the Jets to the Lions, might be a coordinator being fired just on the other side of the ball that Glenn will have to make a decision on, but we'll see.
Yeah. And can I give a couple of shout-outs real quick? First, sitting right next to me for the game was Josh Meyer's high school friend. Him and his dad were there. So that opening drive when we're running the ball, I'm like shaking the kid. And I was like, we're running behind your boy. We're running behind your boy. I was like, that's our boy. We had Francisco P. sitting behind us. I walk in the aisle and he's there. He was all excited. And then later in the game, I think it was like mid-third quarter, maybe late third quarter, I went out to use the bathroom and I'm texting Nick to say goodnight to him. And I get like a little pat on the chest. Like, hey, Nick Shine, what's up? JoJo Townsell came up to me and said, what's up? So it was cool to finally meet him.
Weesack says, well, the paper I already read that one. Never mind. Sam checks in with the super chat. Thank you, Sam. Wonder what our record would be if we have hired an experienced, reputable head coach, say Gruden or Rex. I'd throw McCarthy and Carroll in there too, by the way, Sam. And if we had a healthy Rodgers and Devontae, just saying or dreaming here, I mean, Rodgers and Devontae wouldn't fix the defensive woes. I do think they would probably have a win, though, if they had Rodgers or Devontae, at least one. I think the bigger thing to point to is the experienced coach conversation, because while Aaron Glenn maybe can be a good coach, and I'm not 4 games in going to sit here and say that he's terrible, he can't figure it out. When you hire a first-time head coach that's never done it before, he's learning on the job. And once again, you have a guy that Woody Johnson's paying millions to that's learning on the job, and the toughest place to learn on the job, New York, the Jets, all the history of the playoff drought. It's not Glenn's fault. The playoff drought was 14 years when he took over, but he gets lumped into it, right? The patience for this fan base is not what it would be for a different organization that's had more success in their history over the last 10, 15 years. So that was my big fear. It wasn't ever being anti-Glenn. It was just another first-time head coach with a defensive background. Like that's the fear. And now they made that decision. They got to lie in it, and hopefully that it's the right one and Glenn gets better.
Yeah. The Gruden thing was never going to happen in New York with him and the emails. That was a pipe dream. There's no way the New York media would ever let that go. We would be hearing about that every day. So that to me was never an option. Rex, sure, the defense may be a little more aggressive, but we're seeing aggressiveness. We're seeing a high blitz percentage now. We just don't have the guys getting home. So I don't know how much
they don't blitz enough, though. That's what Sabo was saying. They don't blitz enough. Like, they still put themselves
in spots. We don't have guys tackling downfield, right? Like, the job of a coach is to know what your team can do, but more importantly, know what your team can't do. And if we're leaving guys open and we're not covering very well right now, Michael Carter hasn't been himself. I expect Brownlee to take that role and maybe not give it back. Like, Carter could be a guy that once Brownlee comes in, everyone's talking about, oh, we should have traded Brees. We should trade this guy. Carter is the guy that might be the trade deadline as soon as he's healthy. If Brownlee comes back and Brownlee plays well and Brownlee's their guy with their, prototypical size and speed to play the slot, Carter is going to be the guy that gets shipped off at before the trade deadline as soon as he gets healthy. So they're going to start to find their guys. I don't know if Quincy is their type of player with coverage. They got to still bring in their guys. We need maybe 2 safeties. Malachi Moore might be the safety of the future, but there's guys on the back end that are locked in. AZ Thomas should start to play more as the season goes on. I don't know why it only took an injury to get him to play, but now Stevens is playing well. So everyone who said week 1 and week 2 that it was a horrific signing and they're burning $36 million, now he's our highest rated defender. So things do turn for players, things do turn for teams, and things do turn for positional units. So I know people don't want to say stay the course. I know we live in a world where tweets and everybody wants immediate return on investment. I say this again. Dan Campbell went 0-10-1 before winning a game, and the Lions are grateful, the players, the fans, the organization, that they didn't have a quick trigger finger. And the Jets constantly, the fans, want a quick trigger finger. How do you build something if you're constantly getting rid of someone before it can get built? Granted, there's guys like Adam Gase that deserve to go immediately. Like, there's guys that just are in over their head. I don't think Aaron Glenn's in over his head. I'll say that. I do not think that discussion should even be taking place right now on any platform.
Would you agree you got to see some improvement, though? Like, it's getting worse, not better.
To me, it's all player mistakes right now.
Yeah, but that's on the coach, Nick. That's on the coach. You weren't saying that last year.
Yeah, we were.
No, last year it was blaming Saleh and then blaming Ulbrich, saying they were the worst coach team ever, this and that. We can't now say, oh, it's on the players. And a lot of the players, they're also, they brought or retained. They didn't have to retain some of the players that are making the mistakes. They didn't have to bring in Brandon Stevens.
You can't overhaul your entire roster in 1 year. You'll have a UFL level roster if you try to do it. It takes 2-3 years to get all your guys in.
I agree with that, but if you're saying it's on the players, they have a lot to do with a lot of the players that are still here and their free agent choices. Glenn didn't bring in a bunch of guys who know him from Detroit, like Rex did, for example, or even Saleh. He brought in, Solomon Thomas and whatever that I forget the running back's name he brought in. He brought in some guys that he knew from San Francisco. Like, we're not seeing that. Parcells brought in a bunch of his guys with him. Like, so these are coaching issues. Like, sure, you blame the players as well. Like, it's not Aaron Glenn's fault Braylon Allen fumbled there, for example. But like these are the things that are happening.
Snap penalties. That's the players. Like, the coach's job, call the play. This is how we're going to attack it. If you don't even snap the ball, it's not like you get beat and you're an offensive tackle and you're trying to protect the quarterback and you do a hold because you know the quarterback's going to get leveled.
You don't
All
think
right? That's
pre-snap
the fun.
penalties are on coaching, like having guys focused, ready to go, understanding what they're trying to do, making sure they correct the mistakes when they happen in practice so it doesn't
That's a
happen on
player
game day?
issue. If a player's not focused, that's on the player.
Yeah, but you don't think coaching has anything to do with the penalty problem this team has had?
I think some of it, but the majority of it is players. If you're a pre-snap penalty, that's on the player. If you're jumping off sides, that's on the player.
Maybe
You
if
do
it
all
happens
these
once,
drills
but
to make
when
sure they don't do it. You do the stick with the football and snap. You tell them turn your ears off, watch the ball. That's on the player if he's jumping.
But when you have 9 offensive penalties, which is tied for the second most the Jets have had in a game over the last 25 years, you think none of that has anything to do with coaching?
I think some of it does, but it's on the players. If you're moving and shifting when you're not supposed to be, that's on you. That means you don't know the plays.
Right, but that means the coaches aren't having the
right.
team ready to play. They're not ready to go.
Yeah, but you run these plays a lot. If you're fucking up, you're fucking up. Like if I go to work today and I fuck up, it's not on my boss that I fucked up. My boss has told me what to do. I fuck up. I'm big on personal accountability. If players are moving pre-snap, that's on the player.
But why is Glenn saying that
call these plays in the game and just think, hey, this is the first time we're going to run it on the field.
But
this is
but
shit
Glenn,
they've run at high repetition rate.
Nick, Glenn is the one who's coming out and saying that it has been, because they haven't practiced it, right? That's why they had refs at training camp. They're going to be focused. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to cut down on the penalties. And they've been the most penalized team in the league the last 2 weeks.
They haven't. We don't blame the players for that, though.
You could blame the players, but you're like giving Glenn a pass for things we killed Salah for. That's not fair.
Well, we killed Salah because it never improved over the course of multiple years. I'm not going to kill the guy for 4 games. I need more time before I start to kill the guy over 4 games.
Well, you could be critical, though. It sounds like you don't want to be critical of Glenn at all.
I mean, I'm going to be critical of the guys who were making mistakes back then and are still making mistakes now. Because if you
and isn't it on Aaron Glenn to not play the guys who keep making
and
mistakes?
The same mistakes are showing themselves. It's not on the players. It's 2 regimes now, and the same stupid shit is happening.
Nick, if Mike Tomlin's coaching the Jets, what's their record right now?
He wouldn't be coaching the Jets because we would have got tired of him after 6 games and demanded him to be fired as a fan base.
He would be 3-1 right now. That's
if we don't fumble, we're 3-1. If we don't commit turnovers, we're 3-1.
Nick, part of these mistakes are because the team is not being properly prepared. They're not being coached properly. The message is not getting across.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree on it. I think part of it is I would go 75 player, 25% coaching if I'm weighing it out right now.
AZ Frankie says, make adjustments, fire Wilkes, bench/cut liabilities. Matt Burns in our raffle for 2. He says, F this team. I want a Klecko jersey. Also, bring back the Wonderlic test for these morons. Bo C in the raffle for 2. He writes in and says, I am not upset about the theory of what AG brings. Full contact practice, eliminating penalties, playing disciplined football, etc. I'm upset about the execution of said theory. It's players/coaching. Yeah, both are responsible here. To not include the coaching in this, I think is just silly. But
I'm including the coaching. Like I said, 75 on a player, 25% on coaching. Because a lot of it's the same players from different regimes. And we're just it's got to improve. I mean, I think we all agree on that. It's got to improve, but it's on everyone. If the center moves the ball and adjusts the ball, how do we blame the coach? If a guy false starts, how do we blame the coach? That's just
Aaron Smith lining up wrong. Like, these are the things that are supposed to be corrected. And players are supposed to be held accountable for their mistakes. Michael Clemens commits one of the stupidest penalties you'll see against the Bills. He's out there for the next drive. Isaiah Williams fumbles on the kickoff to begin the third quarter. He's out there on punt team to fair catch at the 2-yard line. This is what we're talking about here. This type of stuff.
Williams should be cut today.
Tony Adams is still playing. Why? Why'd Malachi Moore play 2 snaps last week? That's coaching. Anyway, let's get to your calls, shall we? Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is open. Keep sending in memberships if you want a chance to win a signed Hall of Fame inscription Joe Klecko jersey at the end of the stream. Before we get to your calls, I want to talk about our sponsor today, and that is hold on a second. Not you, Joe Klecko. It's House of Atlas. I wish Joe Klecko was sponsoring me, though, on a side note. That'd be pretty cool. That means I get to hang out with a Jet Hall of Famer every week. But I will say this, House of Atlas, they're awesome. They are my go-to when it comes to shaving. In fact, I got their sleek looking razor right here. And our show's brought to you by House of Atlas. They are a shaving company that has blown me away since I started using all of their products. They were nice enough to send me their razor. They were nice enough to send me their incredible, very smooth precision shave cream. And this is probably my favorite thing, if I'm being real with all of you, the calming aftershave. You know, when you use aftershave in the past, it like burns. You don't have that burning sensation with this aftershave. So I like it a lot. As far as the razor, it's sleek. It feels nice and sturdy in your hand. It's not flimsy like a lot of those disposables razors that you see out there. Once again, the shave cream is great. The aftershave is top notch. It's got a nice scent to it as well. And the sleek design looks pretty nice, especially the razor when it's sitting in your bathroom. Here's the kicker. House of Atlas is now available at Target stores nationwide at Target.com. So you go to Target or buy it online, Target.com. Don't waste time and money on products that don't work. Upgrade your grooming routine today with House of Atlas. Let's say hello to Nick Shine and get ready for your calls. First up today is Black Gypsy. Mr. Gypsy, what do you got for us?
Shine, Asman. I told Shine yesterday with his optimistic nonsense about our team being, bro. If I was in the military, whenever one of our RDCs said, "Hey, do something," we either did it or we didn't. We were scared of them, we respected them. But we did something. There was something to be changed. Like the penalties are just bad. Had Glenn not said that he was going to make this better, it would be what it was. But the fact that he opened his mouth and nothing has changed and it's gotten worse, he is to blame. He is to blame, because if that happens the week before, the next week, I'm spitting at people. I'm punching people in the face. I'm kicking guys in the crotch. Something is going to get fixed. I'm not going back out there to be embarrassed another week when my players do not listen to me, because that's what the media is going to start saying. I'm waiting for the media to say.
Black Jesse, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that they're not working on this? Do you think the coaches are just ignoring it? Or that's where, to me, it falls on the players, because I've been a coach. You work on these things throughout the week. You run the plays. You make them run sprints if they're messing up in practice. You know, you do these things as a coach to prepare for Sunday. And if you're still fucking up on Sunday, that's on the player.
I think he's a player coach, and player coaches don't get respect from players. Certain players will love them and do whatever they have to do for them. But the fact that we have more penalties than we did the week before, there's something lost in translation, because the media kept on saying he went to the locker room and was yelling and screaming at people.
Yeah.
That means,
does that sound like a player's coach?
That means that he told them what to do and they went out and didn't do it.
So that's on the players.
Still though, like when does
you said he told them what to do and they didn't do it. That's where the frustration comes in from the coaching
told them
side.
what to do, but they didn't practice it. They didn't do anything to make it different.
We don't know that. That's an assumption. You don't know that. You don't know what they were.
The only thing that we can say that we saw change from week 1 to now is Stevens has played better. Name something else that's changed that we can point out as a positive.
I trust me. I know I'm going to get shit when I say this sentence. Clemens had a good week. He didn't make a lot of great plays, but he didn't have a lot of fuck ups. So Clemens improved a little bit. Right? It's not a high bar to get better with, but
Nick, how do you look at yourself in the morning? How do you look at yourself in the morning? That's your coaching positive? Michael Clemens screw up? That's
guys, that was tongue in cheek. Relax. I said I know I'm gonna get shit.
I know.
I'm grasping at straws. Everyone decompress. Stop angrily typing. Everyone calm down.
You are the ultimate Jets fan.
He was ready to fucking boo me. I love it.
Yeah, he was ready to blow a gasket, bro.
Jake. You know I ease the tension with a joke every now and then.
Like Nick is the example of the ultimate Jet fan.
See, I didn't know he was necessarily kidding, though, because he wants to basically not blame any of the coaches for the Jets being an undisciplined slop fest, when we were told that was all Saleh and company and Aaron Glenn was going to change all that. And it's been just as bad, if not worse. They said they tied they were second in franchise history for offensive penalties committed on Monday. And that's why they lost a game to a bad team that they should have crushed.
And preseason wise,
but
that's all Glenn spoke about.
All these plays, if they can't run it, like they run these in practice. Like they
but
don't just
there's no
and say,
discipline behind running it in practice. Like you said, you were a coach, right? There's disciplined teams and there's undisciplined teams. So obviously we're undisciplined. If we ran it all week in practice and we still shit the bed on Monday, That means they're not running the plays correctly. Something's not being done right. And like, who has to address it? Is it Angstrom? Is it Glenn? Is it Wilkes? It's Glenn. Glenn is the person that's going to catch the blame. So if he's yelling in the locker room in halftime saying you guys are fuck ups, like obviously they're not doing what he wants them to do. Like somebody has to catch the blame, and he's going to catch all the blame for it, bro. And you already know me. My season tag for this year is what? Fire Wilkes. Because Jake, we talked about it, and every offense knows what Wilkes is going to do, and we're going to get destroyed. Miami run double slants against us. That's I'm going to remember that for a good 10 years to come. That Miami.
To your point, Black Gypsy, I think you're onto something. One of the things we've seen, I think, in all these games, it's a recurring theme. Doesn't it feel like every time the Jets play an opponent, they run the same plays on offense against our defense? Over
and over. That's why Shine said that next week the tight ends for Dallas are going to go apeshit because they're running double slants against
Ferguson for catches and a touchdown. You want easy money?
The OC can just sit back and be like, all right, he's going to play man on third down and then switch to man zone. We already know where the open spot is in the man zone. It slants over the middle. It's crossing routes over the middle. Like, it's not hard to beat a Wilkes defense. Like, Wilkes is playing like he has the greatest players on defense ever, which he doesn't. So if you don't have the best players, you have to play way different formations. You can't play man. That's why Saleh didn't play man with Sauce, because Sauce is handsy and Sauce grabs people. Like Saleh knew something that obviously Wilkes didn't see when he took over the team. And so it's just crazy because I hear people be, oh, we're going to win a game. I cannot see us winning a game when every OC knows what we're going to do on defense and just sits there and writes it up, play action, crossing routes, slants, one-on-one, go to my best receiver and beat. Like, it's just bad.
We know it as fans, right? We look at it as fans and we know where are we going to get killed. Crossing routes and play action and rollouts to tight end. Tua was rolling out and throwing like he was Michael Vick the other day. No one anywhere near him, wide open, hitting crossing routes.
Exactly. And still sending presses and man zone blitzes. Like, Saleh didn't do that. Saleh knew that when he blitzed, he can only blitz on certain occasions. He played nickel. He literally packed the backfield, so the quarterback had to pick wherever he has to go and had less time to do so. Like, it's bad, bro. It's bad. And it's just I never expected our defense to be this bad.
Yeah.
That's awful.
You're right.
Black Gypsy, well said. Just awful. All right. A couple super chats. He'll get right back to your calls. Spencer Green says, all caps. Now, guys, I see both sides. Hit it, Jake. We stink. Nick, I agree with you also. 90% of the penalties are elementary school level that my high school kids don't make. When it just continues to be a repeated problem and the coach vows that it's going to change and it doesn't, that ultimately falls on him. And it's got to get better. There has to be improvement there. It's like I could deal with losses, but not when they lose the way they lost on Monday. That's unacceptable, man. We should be past that. Green Gang says AG was yelling at Tanner for the pre-snap penalties. He was. I mean, that's once again, guys not being prepared. That was you were at the game, so I don't know if you saw the replay of it after, Nick, but that was a moment of the game after one of the pre-snap penalties. Glenn was screaming at Tanner about something. People theorizing it was that
on Twitter. The thing that I had the luxury of seeing was when Tyreek Hill snapped his leg. That was right in front of section 116, and we saw, and everyone collectively, the gruesome reaction. Like, yeah, our section was blessed to have that happen.
They didn't show the replay in the stadium of that, did they?
They don't. That fucking stadium does not show a replay of anything. If there's any bobble of a ball, a review, they don't show it. All they show is their cheerleaders eye-effing the camera every time they look at it and dance. That's all they show. They don't show you any. The spectator experience in the game as a fan of football is horrible. Horrible at that stadium. You could say MetLife is a shitty stadium. The colors are neutral. It's bad. It's camouflage seats like Fortnite or Minecraft, so you can't see how many seats are actually empty. But they show the reviews for you. They put everything on video, slow motion, different angles. It was a horrible, horrible viewer experience being at the game.
I think that going to football games in general is just not as good of an experience as being on the couch and watching it because you don't get the replays. Even at MetLife, they only show you a replay if it's a positive play for the Jets. If you want to just figure out what happened, like why was there just a big play in the game in general, They don't show you it. And it's because they think it's like an advantage to like not let like the Dolphins, in this case, opponents see like, oh, this 50-50 catch, was he in or not? Like, don't give him a chance. It's like, it's a horrible fan experience. Like the NFL should step in and say, you got to show a replay of every play in all these stadiums.
When it's reviewed, the Jets put it up on the board.
Right.
When if it's a reviewed play, it's already been reviewed. Like it's under review process. They show it and they give you different angles. We've been there last year, the Garrett Wilson with the shin.
Correct. But I'm
down.
saying after
They
just
show
any
it.
play, they don't show you a replay. And that's a problem, especially if it's a positive play. Like if the Jets are playing the Texans, like the game we were at together last year, if CJ Stroud hit Nico Collins for like a 45-yard completion, they won't show you that replay. That's annoying.
Yeah,
You want to figure out what happens.
In game, if the game is still running, sure. But when there's moments in question, they don't put any of those up. And that's what was awful. And it was both sides. It was it's marketing instead of viewer experience, which sucks.
Big Country says, I'm excited to be at the game this Sunday for Aaron Glenn's first win as head coach. LOL, we all have dreams. Look, they weren't supposed to beat the Cowboys when Adam Gase was 0-4 and Sam Darnold returned from mono and they won that one. I mean, like the Jets have been in all their games but one so far. Like, do I think they're going to win Sunday? No, but like it's the NFL, man. Like, win a game. That's it. Win a damn game. I don't know how else we could say it. Bo with a super chat. If you work on things with players and still get destroyed, then to Jake's point, it falls on the coaching. Coaching is supposed to fix that. I agree, man, because like we killed the previous staffs for the same issues. Like, I feel like you're just not being critical of Glenn yet because you don't want to torch him yet because it's 4 games in. I'm not saying you got to torch him, but I do think more of the responsibility is on the coaching than you're giving blame for. So we disagree on that.
25% blame is on coaching.
25%. Dre Day, he gifted a membership.
Pre-snap penalties?
Yes, coaching. Okay. There's like no fear. If a guy makes a mistake, there's no fear of them ever being disciplined and coming out of a game. And I thought that was going to be the Glenn mantra.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree.
More of your calls. Let's say hello to Joseph, who's next this morning. Hello, Joseph.
Hello, how y'all doing? So, I will say this, and I don't want to like have any, but like Saleh, the first year he comes in as a coach, and we're gonna have a good defense, and we were 32nd in the league. Like, and I know that's a terrible comparison because Saleh didn't work out, but the difference between Saleh and what we've seen with Glenn so far that we can definitely say is he's gotten into players' faces on the sideline. He has done what he can in the game to like coach in the game. And the next year, our defense was good because Saleh brought his players in. He evaluated the team for a year. And all I'm saying to that is we can't just cut ties with Glenn. We can't just say, okay, well, let's move on to the next guy. Who is the next guy? Who would actually want to come in here and coach the team other than Rex Ryan?
I'll find someone that has previous head coaching experience.
It's an
like
NFL coaching job. A lot of people want it.
Yes, you get paid incredibly well. It's New York.
Right.
All right.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing. But what I'm saying is that who would be that next guy is all I'm saying. And so to me, it's ride it out a little.
That's not a reason to keep Glenn just because you don't know who the next guy would be. You find someone who's better if the guy that you brought in is incompetent. I'm not saying Glenn's incompetent, but if you're painting a scenario where they're picking number 1 in the draft, I'm making Aaron Glenn Gerard Mayo. Like I'm not giving Aaron Glenn a second year. This team is the worst team in football this year, which right now they're one of 3 teams without a win. And it's only going to get louder if they start 0-6, which I'm predicting now because I don't think they're winning this week. They're definitely not winning in London. So
I'm not disagreeing with the win losses. I'm just saying I think that we just have to give it time. We gave Saleh time when we had a 32 ranked defense and he was a defensive guy. We gave him another year.
You know why they gave Saleh time though? Look at the roster he took over. That team stunk.
I mean, I this is going to be another thing. Do I think that his team, just defensively wise, I think on paper it's about the same. We had Mosley, which Mosley was the biggest thing we're missing on the defense right now is we don't have a true guy that's a Mosley that's going to keep people accountable, that's going to hold the people accountable, that's going to, I know what play is coming, let's line up for this. We don't have that guy right now on the defense, which is hurting our defense. And that plays value in a defense.
Here's your 2021 New York Jets roster.
I looked it up before I got online.
So
it's bad.
This is the offense. We ready? Zach Wilson at quarterback, who historically speaking is one of the worst quarterbacks that's ever played the amount of games he's played. Your running back was Tevin Coleman, LaMichael Pirine, and Ty Johnson. Michael Carter was a rookie. Your tight end was Chris Stonehands Herndon. Tyler Croft was the backup. Your offensive line was George Fant, right tackle, right guard, Greg Van Roten, center, Connor McGovern, rookie left guard, Elijah Vera Tucker. Your left tackle was Mekhi Becton. Your wide receivers, Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios, Elijah Moore were the backups. Now here's the defense in 2021. Shaq Lawson, Quinn Williams, Foley, Fatukasi, John Franklin Myers. The defensive line, actually, you could argue was not as bad as this year's D-line if Jermaine's not playing, but that's besides the point. Linebackers, C.J. Mosley. Remember Gerard Davis, the first signing Joe Douglas couldn't wait to make? He was terrible. Hamza Nazuddin. Blake Cashman was never healthy as a Jet. Sherwood barely played that year. He was converting the linebacker. Your corners were Bless Austin and Bryce Hall. Your safeties were Marcus May and LaMarcus Joyner. And you had Javelin Gitry and then a young Michael Carter. Like, this team stunk, man. You can't even compare the teams.
I'm not, like I said, it's not about comparing the teams.
And that team won 4 games, Joseph. So if this team wins 3 or less, you're going to feel good about Aaron Glenn and company?
I think you need to have Aaron Glenn bring his guys in and let him decide. Now, next year, if he's complete trash, then get rid of him. But I think you need to give him more than just one off season. That's what we did with Salah.
If they show improvement, if they're picking 1-1 in the draft, I don't want Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji getting to pick a quarterback. They don't deserve that.
I don't want a quarterback. My other hot take is I don't want a quarterback next year. I think we should trade out of it, and I think we should get another receiver. The knock on Fields is he doesn't release the ball. Well, when you're relying on one guy to get open, you can't release the ball on time. Sorry,
Justin, let me ask you something. When you say he needs to bring in his guys, what was this offseason about? He got rid of Aaron Rodgers. He got rid of Devontae Adams. They chose to keep Allen Lazard. That wasn't his guy. They kept him. They chose to bring in Josh Reynolds. They chose to extend Javian Sherwood. They chose to pay Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. They chose to give $36 million to Brandon Stevens. They chose to not re-sign DJ Reed or Brandon Eccles. Like they had opportunities to bring in, quote, their guys, and some of their decisions to bring in their guys were to retain the old guys, like Michael Clemens included.
And I don't disagree with that, but to me, would you rather reach and overpay like we did with Stevens for every Aaron Glenn guy to get in here, or do we evaluate what's on the roster and we go from there?
Yeah, but why did they pay Stevens is my question to you.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. That's a mistake. People make mistakes. Doesn't mean they get fired for their mistake.
I'm not saying he should be fired.
The last 2 weeks.
And I agree.
He's bad in pass coverage. He's been good at tackling. He's not been good in pass defense. This guy's running wide open.
The way to get good on pass defense, in my opinion, is to have a line that can get to the quarterback to force the plays. When you have all day in the pocket to throw, you're going to find somebody open.
Or don't have a predictable defensive scheme.
And I'm not disagreeing with that either. And I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying fire Glenn. I'm saying if this team is picking at the top of the draft, what exactly can we point to that makes you feel like this organization, this regime deserves an opportunity to draft a quarterback? You could say you don't want to draft a quarterback. I got news for you. They're going to. They might not do it with their first pick. They might do what the Giants did with Jackson Dart, take a great player in the top and then trade back up and get their guy.
Right.
I would be very weary of trusting a coach and GM that's never done it before, has a 3-win or less season, picking in the top 2 in the draft, to now all of a sudden get it right. That would be very alarming.
And that's understandable. I'm not, when I say fire Glenn, I'm not saying you specifically. It's just Jets fans are ready to move on to the next guy. And it's to me, yeah, we have 15 years of a playoff drought. We have 15 years of issues, but putting it on this one guy that's been here for 4 games in an off season is not, moving on from him is not going to solve anything yet. Now, if the rest of the year we start getting blown out, if we go to the Saints game and we get blown out 40-0, okay, different story. But like, let's just keep our head going. That's all I got. I mean, I think that they need to re-sign Breece Hall. I don't think we need to go reach out for a quarterback. I think we need to get other weapons on offense. We need to get some other defensive guys. And obviously in the offseason, fire Wilkes. I'm okay with that. But to get rid of Glenn and move on, and that's just a whole different ball game, I'm not willing to go.
The Patriots did it with Gerard Mayo.
Yes, but they also replaced him with a very, very good coach that they
So
knew
how do
they
we know
could
the
get.
Jets? How do we know John Harbaugh doesn't finally get let go in Baltimore if they have this bad
And if
season?
John Harbaugh gets let go and we have an opportunity, sure.
Well,
I'm
this
not.
is what I'm talking about with you, Joseph. You're saying that Glenn definitely needs to get multiple years, and I'm simply saying if they're horrific, which at 0-4, right now they're one of the 3 worst teams in the league. If they're that bad, and Robert Saleh's team with far less talent actually won 4 games in 2021, I don't think it's a crazy conversation to talk about having to make drastic measures here if you're picking at the top of the draft and you need this regime to decide on the most important position in all sports, quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I'm not saying Fields is the answer, but what I think as a regime, if you go out and get your guy and the guy doesn't work out, you've got a shorter leash. Look at Daboll. Daboll, if he got a guy years ago, he wouldn't be a coach right now. The problem is with Glenn reaching out and getting a quarterback next year, it makes his leash a little shorter because if that quarterback doesn't do well, get rid of him. And so all I'm saying is to prevent that, keep Fields one more year. He's on the team for 2 years, and then go get your quarterback if it doesn't work year 2.
We'll see. I don't want to get into the quarterback discussion, but we're simply talking about the idea of this team being horrific, and then it's like, oh, you got to just run it back with everyone. That doesn't pass the smell test. I don't think this fan base will put up with that. A couple comments here. One from Nate, who's being a jackass in the chat. He says, if we win 7 games, then what, Jake? Then I would say they improved. I would say that, wow, it got a lot better. Good. I feel a lot better about the direction of this team if they won 7 football games. Do they look like a team that's going to win 7 games right now? They don't.
They're losing 1-score games. They're not. It's not 30-10 every week. I mean,
they lost more 1-score games than
Aaron
Rodgers.
Last year. But last year with the great Aaron Rodgers, we averaged 19.9 points a game. This year we're over 22. So
Nick, they had 3 points
in the
Nick. They had 3 points in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, in each of the last 2 games. Though it's a bit skewed when you're scoring some points here.
We had 21 at halftime against Seattle, and then 0 in the second half. The problem is consistency and doing it for 4 quarters. So there's
but you're talking about, but you're using that stat about the offense to say that it's all of a sudden it's been so much better. Like let's really talk about what the offense.
We're getting more yards and we're scoring more points.
They were elite week 1. They were
last year.
They
saw what Rodgers wanted to do and they took it away. That's why.
But Nick, this is not about comparing last year's Jet team to
but
this
if you're
year's
comparing
Jet
to
team.
Salah, why can't I compare to last year? It's more recent.
We're saying that last year's Jet team was horribly coached, and it might look a little different this year, but this year's team has been horribly coached so far. Both have been horribly coached.
Put more on the players, though, man. With the turnovers on offense, and we've lost 3 1-score games. We're not outmatched every week. I think it's closer than everyone wants to say because we live in an overreactive world. But if we're getting our doors blown off every week and we're not competitive at all, then yes, I'm with you. But looking at it as a whole, we're not as bad as the results. The results suck. We have to change the results. How do you do that? You do the little things better so the big picture can be clear. We got to stop the pre-snap penalties.
Is that on coaching?
Stop the turnovers. We got to start getting turnovers. When we do these things, the wins will happen. If they never happen, then I'll get to where you're at. But I see a team that is.
So how many games do you think they're going to end up winning, Nick?
I don't know. That depends on if they turn these things around. If they correct these things, then we're going to win a bunch of games. We can win.
But how many? Okay,
we're overmatched.
You're saying if they correct these things.
Correct. They have to happen. It's not a guarantee. It's not a given we're going to lose. It's not a given that we're going to win anyway.
Right, but my question to you is, what have you seen that gives you any confidence it's going to be corrected so far?
We're losing 1-score games.
Right, but they lost 1-score games last year and never got better.
Okay, but that's correct. We know that's the given. We know that. We don't know. If we stop fumbling on kick returns, we're in a better position to win those games. Would you agree with that? Like if Gibson doesn't fumble, we probably win that game. If we don't have the turnovers, week, fumbling at the 1 and then the kickoff, Garrett Wilson's touchdown getting called back, we would have 35 points.
You ready for this though, Nick?
We're not bad. We're just fucking up.
You ready? Let's use your own logic then, because this is why I hate doing it. Ready? Oh, you said, the great Aaron Rodgers only won 5 games. If Greg Zuerlein makes a kick against Denver, there's another win. If Greg Zuerlein makes his kicks against Buffalo, there's another win. If Greg Zuerlein makes his kick in the second Patriot game, there's another win. Oh, if the defense gets a stop against Anthony Richardson, there's another win. Oh, if the defense gets a stop against Kayshon Boutte and Jacoby Brissett, there's another win. If the defense gets to stop when they're up 8 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter against the Dolphins, we could do the if game all day long. Ultimately, they have to win football games. That's what it comes down to.
Correct. What I'm saying is we're showing good things. I know the penalties are costing it. The Garrett Wilson call was horrendous. You agree with that? That was not
Of course. That's not why they lost, though.
So it's not why they lost, but you're taking 7 points off the board. We went from a touchdown to fucking being at the 40-yard line.
I mean, they're
I mean, it adds to it. It's a matter of cleaning things up and making it better. Like if we're losing 30-10, I'm not going to sit here with anything positive. We're this
how many
close.
wins are they going to get though? Like what do you need to see win wise?
I think we need to see this team just clean up the mistakes, and I think the wins will come.
Say a number though. You refuse to say a number though.
All right,
what do they have to do?
It then. I think we could beat Carolina. I think we could beat Cincinnati. I think we could beat Cleveland. I think we could split with New England. I think we're better than Atlanta and New Orleans. Jacksonville's playing well. Like I don't think we're outmatched in many. Baltimore's horrible right now on defense. You know, who knows how long Lamar's going to be out? They say 2 to 3 weeks, but hamstrings always linger.
They're not going into Baltimore and beating the Ravens. Stop it.
I'm not saying they're going to, but I don't think that
Nick, but
in the
you just
beginning of the
agreed
year,
with me.
that was a
You
game
said
that I
it's
said
all
we're getting
about-
our doors blown off.
You
I
said
can't
it's
say
all
that
about
right now.
wins, right? That's what you said before. So I'm asking you, how many wins do you now need to see after this 0-4 start to feel like this team is headed in the right direction from a coaching standpoint?
I think if you get the 5-6 wins and you're competitive, you turned it around slightly. Like I said, Dan Campbell started 0-10-1 and only
With
won
way
3
less
his first
talent.
year.
Way less talent.
But wait, how do we have way less talent? You just said before with the super chat, we only have like 5 core guys.
No.
Winning teams have like 10, 12 core guys that are like, no, we're not trading these guys.
I
They're
was
a part of
referring
what
to
we
players. I was referring to players you wouldn't consider trading. I think they have
but
more
a lot of
good
teams
players
have
than that.
in the double digits. We could barely get to 5.
Dude.
Like we are missing talent here still. I
Correct.
think the whole organization needs to get better.
But like we're talking, you were comparing the Jets to the Lions, and that team wasn't as good as the Jet team. That's the bottom line. So if the Jets win 3 games, you want to bring back Aaron Glenn?
I gotta see how this plays out. I can't make that call in week 4. I can't.
I agree. I'm not
close games, and if we're not competitive,
let's say it's the same way. Let's say it's the same way. They've lost 3 games have been close. Do you think they've been well coached in the games they've lost? You think they were a well coached team the other night?
But there's been a lot of player fuck ups.
You think they were well coached week 2? You think they were well coached when they were trailing?
No, that's the one
22-6
game where we were
Tampa?
completely outmatched as coaches, as players, and players they gave up in week 2. Like it was bad early, and we just didn't have. We didn't have a shot.
Dude, I love your optimism. I really do. I appreciate it.
But it's based off of facts and data. It's not just like if we're losing 30-10, Jake, I can't sit here and sell you anything. But I can look at the games, and the reason you look at the film is how do we correct these mistakes?
Well, this was the
There's
same thing last
correctable
year.
mistakes that can lead to victories with this team.
As was the case last year, as was the case the year before.
Yeah, but I don't know. I see it differently. All right.
I like how you see it.
my car, right?
I hope you're right. I'm rooting for you to be
my
right.
car, and the brakes don't work. And I say, all right, we need to fix the brakes. And I bring it to a mechanic, and he doesn't fix the brakes. Is that on me? Like, I'm the coach. I knew something was wrong. I went to go get it fixed. But the guy who's supposed to fix it fucked up. That's the player.
Amazing. I hope you're right.
Could always beat the narrative of same old Jets, but it's not.
But I know this: they're not the same old Jets.
Everyone wants things now. It's the instant coffee age, but at the same time, we're grinding.
Here's what I do know: I know this is an instant coffee league. I know from the media to the fans, everybody expects this. You know, when you just start, okay, we're going to Super Bowl, but we've all played Legos before.
We'll watch the tape.
Watch the tape.
Just gotta watch the tape, man. That's it. So Nate, your logic here sucks. Jake projected 4 wins when Glenn was hired. No, I jokingly said I smell 4 wins when they got rid of Rodgers. My final projection before the year on the Tuesday of AVT's injury was 6 wins. So no, I don't want Glenn fired in week 4. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's going to be a conversation if this team, which right now, if the season were to end today, is projected. Hold on, let me pull up my Tankathon graphic because we love seeing this on October 1st. Right now, it's projected to pick 2nd in the draft. If they end up being that bad, I think there's going to be a lot of fans who have at that point, a legitimate argument to one and done this coach before you allow him to oversee the selection of a quarterback, which is what they would be doing if they're picking that high. That's all I'm saying. I'm hoping Glenn turns it around and Nick Shine is right that these close losses eventually turn out to be some wins. That's all we're talking about, though. if this team is well coached, and if they're well coached, eventually some of these mistakes are corrected and they win games, to quote Nick. Now, a couple super chats before we get back to your calls. Dre Day, we play to win the game. Yes, he's right. We do. He's in the raffle for one, as is the Austrian Jet fan. We have a signed Joe Klecko Hall of Fame inscription jersey up for grabs today. Spencer Green says, I'll be real. I think we go 9-8 or 10-7 this year. From your lips to God's ears, baby. Yeah. Y2K says, Glenn, one and done. He got rid of Rodgers, didn't bring in any talent from Detroit. 2 years, if he could bring in some talent, Glenn might be a sellout. Okay, then. Mickey with a super chat. These games haven't been close. We catch up at the end to make the score look respectable, but the last 2 games haven't been close. That's another point I think is fair, specifically with the Tampa game that I was at. They were not in that game. It took a miracle from Will McDonald to actually give them the lead late. Todd Bowles' team committed 14 penalties. They were down 3 starters on their line. Mike Evans got hurt in the 4th quarter. We could say they were in the game. If you watch the game, we saw what actually happened, and that was a lot of this Dolphin game too, to be fair, with the mistakes the Jets made, but we'll see. All right, more of your calls here. Let's say hello on the Gus Buster hotline. Next up to the great Kyle Clifton.
I'm not refereeing between you two guys at this tailgate in 2 weeks. That's for sure.
I hope Nick's right. I hope by the time we get to that tailgate, the Jets actually have a win and they're not 0-6, and we're talking about having the first pick in the draft.
This is midweek argument, Kyle. You know at that game damn well he's going to be on my shoulders for a Jet chant in the lot, in the stadium. He's going.
I'll be ready to bowl. I might have a bag on my head for that Jet chant.
We'll be united, guys. Don't worry, we're good.
Yeah. It sounds about right. I think the way I kind of lean between what this argument is that Glenn has had so much control for a new rookie head coach that it's hard for him to escape some blame here. Like, any of us could see the problems that we were having the last season when we were in these close games. We weren't getting home the way we used to. The penalties, stuff like that. Like if you know that Michael Clemens is a problem, that he's seems to be a little bit uncoachable, and you see these recurrent, crippling in-game penalties, and you get a full season of OTAs and camp and a preseason, 4 games, the quarter pole of the season, and it's still happening. Move on from Michael Clemens. That's where the frustration, I think, with Glenn comes from. Now, by the same token,
but Kyle, I don't think anyone thinks Michael Clemens is getting an extension. Michael Clemens will be gone after this year. You can't overhaul the entire roster. Unfortunately, Clemens stayed. No one wanted Michael Clemens.
That was their choice, though.
There's going to be turnover as we go into year 2 and to year 3. They have more money in free agency this year. They were handcuffed a little bit this year. So there's going to be good additions coming in.
Clowney got what? $5 million, if that? They could have had him. Zarius Smith, what'd he get? They chose to keep Clowney. They chose to keep Clemens, and he got a pay bump for playing time incentives last year.
Like who would pick we can't. It's not Madden. We just don't throw out the contract. Players
Did they not have drafted an edge
late in your career, though? I'm a big believer that guys are ring hunting, or they want to go home. Right? You're not just going to take the money to take the money. You can sit and wait for a situation that suits you.
You really think they shouldn't be criticized for keeping Michael Clemens when we all knew as fans
that
was a mistake?
I said that Clemens is a problem. I did a show in the preseason that Gibson, Clemens, and Max Mitchell should be 3 guys that should not make this roster.
Right.
We should find improvements.
So that's kind of what we're talking about, though. Like these are,
you can't overhaul everybody, and you could say that Clemens does not deserve to be here. I 100% agree with that. It's my take as well, but you can't overhaul the entire thing when you're handcuffed with salary cap. So you maybe say, all right, here's a couple positions we can ride out.
Here's my pushback on that, though.
And safety are all positions we need to improve going in next year.
They
coverage
have
linebacker is someone that we need.
Nick, why did they spread Rodgers' cap hit over 2 years? You could make that argument if they said we're just going to take it all on the chin for this 1 year, reset, and then go into next year with a lot of cap space. They had more money to spend than you're giving them credit for. They just spent $36 million on Brandon Stevens. They had money. They had money to spend. They still have a lot of cap space to spend, and they actually gained cap space with the extensions they gave out to both Sauce and Garrett with the way the new structure is set up. So like it's not a money thing; it was by choice. I think they truly believed they could coach up Clemens because of his his physical skill set. They looked at this guy's 6'5", he's an Adonis-looking figure, and they figured, oh, we'll be the ones to get the most out of him, and that was a poor evaluation so far.
So, and here's the other thing that goes along with that. They purposely have stuck with the young guys. And for whatever reason, these older free agents, whatever, you do that with an eye on maybe you're going to develop some guys. At some point, if you're going to lose with Clemens, you can lose without Clemens, right? Like, I understand you can't overhaul the whole team, but like he's a net minus at this point. Like, move past him, see what these other guys that you brought in have, if anything. If they don't, you move past them. It doesn't really cost you anything in the long run. That would be my answer to that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was this Davis injury. Do we think we're bringing in a warm body for the running back room or no?
I think Nwangu will be back this week, and I think he bumps up to RB3, right? Because they used him a lot in the preseason to see if he could run the ball. So I'm okay with bringing someone in, but if he's healthy and he's going to be on the roster, he's going to be RB3 and your returner. But if you go and get somebody, it tells me he's not going to be ready for Sunday.
So the one thing I thought of was, our guy Donovan Edwards signed with the Redskins practice squad, kind of knows the offense a little bit. Maybe bring him back in for an audition, see if there's an opportunity there for him to have a more protracted role with the team. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's a dart throw. But he's someone who you liked initially, has familiar with the team, the facility, and the scheme. Maybe that might be worthwhile a thought. I appreciate your time, guys.
Kyle, good call as usual. Fair points. Super chats here that we're getting right back to the calls. A lot of you are on hold. I promise if you're on hold, we will get to you during the show. Robin says, Shine is mostly right until he isn't. We have no depth, and the Wilkes defense is hard to watch. We have no choice but wait or stop watching. Tomorrow's my B-day, and we have no wins yet. WTF. Let's go. Robin, happy almost birthday to you. And look, there's a real scenario where the Knicks get their first win before the Jets. I talked about it yesterday. It's not good. Not good. Bo with a super chat. Pointing figures doesn't matter at this point. Be the coach and players we need you to be. Figure it out and win a damn game, period. That's it, man. Like, a lot of the stuff we're talking about goes away with you beat the Cowboys and give us something, man. It's tough. Cash Money Mike checks in. Per the great Parcells, you are what your record says you are, and being 0-4 means we're shit until they prove otherwise. We're picking in the top 3. I don't trust the current regime. Pick a QB. They are shit right now, unfortunately.
Correct.
But
that's the given. That's what we know. But
we do have 2 moral victories. Would you agree with that? We're 2-2 in the moral victory department.
I'm not doing that.
And we have that. So we got that going for us. Jeff fans.
Catchy tune.
It is. It really is. Ladies and gentlemen, up next on the Gusbuster Hotline is...
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's
What's up, gentlemen?
There he is. We're in pink today. Nice.
Nick,
It's very bright, very colorful. I like it.
That's my that's North Hills Country Club. My son got me that golf, nice golf shirt. Nick, you make a lot of good points, but please I don't want the word Aaron Rodgers coming out of your mouth ever again, because when you do that, you open up like a wound, and you basically take all the positive points you make, and you make a lot, and you turn into somebody who it's just undefendable. Okay. At this stage of the game where we are right now, to defend the fact that we got rid of Devontae and Aaron and let the whole thing go. And
why couldn't we just keep Devontae, by the way? Right? They kept Lazard.
We eliminated the chance of getting any good coach because the reality is, and I swear to God, I'll take this to the grave. Every coach that Tannenbaum, you better ask him this, Jake. I don't know if you did or you didn't, but the reality was there was a condition on any coach coming in that they weren't going to have Aaron Rodgers because Woody Johnson made that decision before the coaching search started. So it wasn't like there was a choice. He was out before it started. And that's why all these guys said no to the Jets. I'll go to the grave with that. But let's get off of that because that's past history. As far as Glenn goes, let me just make a couple of points. We had an injury with the guy that's coming back this week. Nagoa, what's his name again?
Nwangu?
Kick returner.
I
Nwangu.
suck at the name.
Okay. So Nwangu is coming back this week. Do we know that for sure, I hope, or we don't know?
We don't know yet.
Okay. Now,
he should, in theory, because they didn't put him on the short-term IR, which is 4 weeks, and he should be back.
Neil, I'm going to save your ass. Mr. Gorilla Salad wanted to put you in the hole, but guess what? I just put up $50 of my hard-earned money to counter his bounty. You're not going anywhere, Neil. Finish your call.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about that, Nagoa, whoever you are, Mr. Gorilla. Anyhow, when you have a guy, now we're down a kick returner, right? And we got rid of Gibson. So instead of going to there's a guy out there in the free agent market that's probably a Hall of Fame kick returner. His name's Cordell Patterson. I believe he's still available. I think you got to go out and get a guy like that, Nick. If you're a coach and you want to be a leader, go get a guy that's an established kick returner. I think we need him now more than ever because I was saying let's put Isaiah Davis back there. He's been great. The only problem is now he's RB1. God forbid he gets hurt on a kick return, Nick. Where are we then? Now we lost another.
I do not want Davis back there. If Davis is RB2, I don't want him returning. We just learned last week that
so now we don't have a kick returner, and I think it was completely asinine.
Try Arian Smith. Try Arian Smith.
Yeah, it's something we got to have. Something. Those are the kinds of things, Nick, that's bothering me with Aaron Glenn. Now, you have tackling deficiencies. Forget about what they could have done in camp. It got rid of Clemens and all that. Now we got the roster we have. So let's look at the roster. We had tackling issues, okay? Brandon Stevens has been a good tackler. That's not his problem. Like Jake said, his problem is coverage. So let's
he
swing
gave up one catch this week in coverage. He was our best cornerback this week by far.
Okay.
He gave up one catch in coverage.
How many? Well, that's because they were throwing at Sauce all game, not him. Because Sauce was the guy that was getting his ass.
But wait a minute. Isn't that saying that Stevens is doing well? When you got Waddle and you had Hill.
Oh, they decided they wanted to go after Sauce.
And you trusted Stevens in coverage to put Sauce on Darren Waller. You trusted Stevens to cover their receivers. You had Sauce on Waller multiple times in that game because of his size. So they trusted Stevens.
Okay, I'm not saying get rid of Stevens. I'm saying move him to safety because he's a good tackler. Because we really have to replace Adams. Could we at least agree that Adams should not be on the field?
Yeah.
I'd start Carter at safety. That's what I would do. I'd move Michael Carter, who played safety in college, and they did give him a couple safety looks. If you watch the All-22 from the Bucs game when we had Joe Blewett on last week, move him to safety or try him there. And then you have Brownlee, who should play this week, who could be your nickel, and he could be a physical guy.
We got to have Brownlee in the game because Brownlee's a tackler from what I understand. We got to get guys in here that can tackle.
And he fits their mold. He's bigger, longer arms. He fits the type of player that they want to have in coverage. And Cisco's been really bad on the back end. I would love to
Again, I don't want Cisco. I don't want to see Cisco. He hasn't made any plays the whole 4 games. The guy hasn't been anywhere near the ball on long throws. He's not a tackler, and his coverage sucks. Now, I'll put look, Malachi Moore, I like the way he tackles. He's definitely faster. He's an Alabama guy. He's pro-ready. Let's get him more in the game. And I'm going to tell you another guy, and Nate's going to like that I said this, Stiggers. I want to see Stiggers in the game. At least the kid tackles, okay? I haven't seen Stiggers be a big liability on coverage where he's gotten burnt 4 or 5 times in a game where I could honestly say this guy's not an NFL player. Have you seen that, Nick? I don't see anything bad about Stiggers. He's on the roster.
I think AZ Thomas goes in before Stiggers.
AZ, another thing. Again, if he doesn't make those changes, Nick, if we don't see those changes in the Dallas game and we continue to see guys on the back end that are continually playing like shit and come back week in and week out, that is coaching. That is the problem that I'm going to have and Jake's going to have and the guys that are having problems with. That's going to be a major issue.
And hopefully it gets better. I hopefully it gets better. Like it is only 4 games. But these are alarming trends we're seeing so far, especially after what Glenn said wouldn't happen, and it's happening. They've been just as bad in a lot of areas we ripped the previous coaching staff for a year ago. The same exact conversations. That's what frustrates me. And the defense is worse. They're way worse with a lot of the same players. That's what's concerning. It shouldn't be this bad. I know it's a new scheme, but like they haven't forced a turn. They're the only team in the NFL that doesn't have a turnover on defense, and they're one of 4 teams in the last 90 years to be 0-4 without a turnover. Like this is a historically bad unit so far. Not good enough.
Now, one other thing I will say, Nick, where I have a problem. Okay, JJ, we know he's coming back this week, but the minute he got an injury, okay, and we look, our major problem is I don't care. You got the best secondary in the league. If you can't get to the quarterback and you give a quarterback time, he's going to carve you up like nobody's business. And we didn't get pressures. How many pressures did we have against my...
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
Wow, Neil, the chat is rallying to your defense. Spencer Green just paid a $50 get Neil out of a future bounty by writing in, wait a damn minute, Gorilla, who the F do you think you are, buddy? Change your name to Cooked. To the whole, Gorilla. 24 hours, no protection for you. We love you, Neil. Ladies and gentlemen, with the power invested in me, Mr. Gorilla, you had a great run. I'm going to add you to the raffle. The rules are rules. Mr. Gorilla Salad, you are headed to the hole. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it. By God Almighty, of all the dramatic things we have ever seen. Wow.
I have a question. Hey, listen. This is rare air that we're in. Also, Neil, great job wearing the pink shirt, making all the pink super chats with $50 come in. Tremendous forward thinking on your part.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, since you canceled out Gorilla Salad's super chat, Jake, couldn't his own super chat go to protect himself from the hole?
It's a fair point, Mr. Gorilla Salad, because you have a good friend.
That's a pretty hefty thing to then get put in the hole.
That is a fair point. Isn't it funny that we have to refer to him as Mr. Gorilla Salad as we're having this conversation?
It might be the most normal name that he has on YouTube. So
it's true. All right, shout out to you, Knobcraft. You're the man. Great to meet you in person a bunch of times. I am removing Knobcraft, aka Mr. Gorilla Salad, from the hole. He will be freed in 10 seconds. Neil, do you have any other points? Are we done? I think you've used 13.
No, I'm not making points. I thought we were just having conversation here. I'm not really making points. I'm just trying to basically say to the fact
I cannot wait for Boomtown to put that in the recap. Point number 7. I'm not.
Yeah, do you like
points.
do you like the Boomtown recap of your calls?
Yes. One thing I will say, Jake, I'm surprised you missed out on. We did have a humping. There was a humping pregame on Sunday to try to get the Jets on Monday night rather to win. I texted you to humping. It wasn't from me.
It wasn't you, though. It was your dog. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, but the dog did a hump. It's hysterical.
Yeah, but there's no Jets jersey on the dog. There was no positive omen from it.
Duke, but, Duke was humping. So that's something to think about with regard to that. But let's see what happens. Again, I agree. I'm not, Nick, I agree. We can't, I'm not throwing the towel in at Aaron Glenn, at this juncture. But I really do think we should, he's involved with the personnel. It would have been nice to get an edge rusher. It would have been nice to get a kick returner off the, that prevents us from putting Braylon
Wandu's our
Allen
kick
out
returner. right?
What's that?
I think we all agree with that. Nwangu's the kick returner. He's
but
him
I get
being
it.
out
gets hurt
sucks right
again.
now, and
I
him
get
being
it, but,
out led to Braylon Allen getting hurt.
And replacing Gibson with this other guy obviously was a bad decision. I mean, in hindsight, you could get some experienced guys. I would have loved to have a vet in there. This is the other thing. I would love to have a vet presence on the defense to help talk these guys off the ledge. And Black Gypsy, I forgot who made the point about not having, the middle linebacker there this year is a big problem for us, not having a quarterback on the defense on the linebacker crew. But CJ rather. So look, it is what it is. I think I agree with you, Nick, if we turn down a lot of these penalties and pre-snaps and bullshit and fumbles, and if we have a clean game,
we can win.
We could win. I mean, Justin Fields is not the problem right now. And the offensive line is certainly not the problem either. And the problem is the defensive trenches, I think, are exploiting the problems we're having in the secondary because we're not getting home.
Yeah.
That's
when you don't have
problem.
JJ and you're putting.
Welcome back to Miami, the first of two. Bengals and Broncos at an hour on ABC. Jets Dolphins on Monday.
Shout out to Neil. That's Neil's dog, Duke. Doing what Neil should have done before the Jets played the Bills in week 2, and that is
Hope
why
Neil
they
didn't use that
ultimately
pillow
lost.
to lay down on during the game.
Man, what a great call from Neil. What a monumental moment, by the way. Mr. Gorilla Salad thinking he got rid of Neil. I said, I'm saving your ass. And it's Spencer Green turning it back on Mr. Gorilla Salad, a.k.a. Knob. What a moment. Everyone. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Since 50 people, since I sent in a $50 super chat, I probably should just give the 10 memberships in hindsight so the community benefited. I will assign 10 memberships to various people before the show ends. And Nick, you have to tell me, you have to help me out, who should get a membership. Could be someone who called in, someone who had a great comment during the show, but we will come up with 10 people that we will add a raffle ticket for each for our Joe Klecko signed jersey coming up.
Well, the first name I see is Dave Briga.
Dave Briga, we're putting you in. You're getting one. Who else?
Rich.
Rich, you're getting one.
Let's go with Amanda.
Amanda Madison, big time 4%er. She's getting one.
Let's keep adding to the 4%ers. Let's add Clancy.
Clancy, you are a woman. You're getting one.
And Curly Norman, just so he could be fucking positive about something. But then he'll be negative if he doesn't win. So he'll balance it out.
Curly, you're getting one. So that is, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought Black Gypsy had a great call. I liked his debate with you. I'm going to give him an extra gifted membership. Let's see.
Mike Rubino said BMAC.
All right, that means we have 4 left.
Let's see how the chat goes the rest of the way, right? We got some in the tank. We got some.
We still got time. Mike Perez is in for 2, though. He says, I blame me, Neil. I have a fever, and the only prescription is more humps. I need more hump.
Welcome back to Miami, the first of 2. Bengals and Broncos at an hour on ABC. Jets Dolphins on Monday.
It's a great video, Neil.
Can we get a video of Neil humping that pillow? Is that the thing that we need to get a win? Come on, Neil. Send the video in right now, Neil.
Unreal. All right, here we go. More of your calls, ladies and gentlemen. Burkinator is on the line. Mr. Burkinator, you were in the building just like Nick Shine was Monday. How we doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you guys doing? I tried to calm down. The Yankees loss sent me last night, so I'm trying to collect my thoughts here.
That was rough.
Someone tell Gator, by the way, to make a video. You guys hearing me?
We hear you. There's a slight delay, Burkinator, but we got you.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the boonies in Georgia here doing some work. Someone tell Gator to make a video of that pillow, transform the pillow to Beast's face with that dog humping it, and that'll definitely make my my next couple of calls a little better. Tough loss by the Yankees last night, by the way, Jake. My condolences with that one. I'm a Yankees fan too, so that was rough. But going to what we're talking about with the Jets. You both make very, very valid points. I kind of collected my thoughts. I was a little crazy yesterday on the drive. So I'm going to hit all those points about as you two made. So let's start with the coaching staff. There is blame to be made on the coaching staff. Obviously, there are things that are intolerable that, like I said yesterday, is Pee-wee related football. However, I will say that I do believe that Aaron Glenn has been put in a very difficult spot, not only because he's a first-year head coach, because it's the New York Jets. And the New York Jets have some type of bad juju about the way of how they approach football games and how they find a way to lose games. I don't know what it is. I will say, though, I will give credit to the staff currently in a couple of things. One, where they improved, or a couple of ways they improved. Let's start with the offense. One, they definitely established an identity in the running game. That running game is definitely a problem for teams. The offensive line is a big upgrade. And if they can not turn the ball over just randomly on the 1 yard line, and if they finish those types of drives, keep the defense off the field and control the clock, especially controlling Justin Fields from making mistakes, which they have done a good job of. As Nick said earlier, they are in these games and they can win these games and they should win these games. You know, they could easily be 2-2 right now. I won't give them the Tampa game. I knew they were going to blow that game when it was too much time for Baker Mayfield. The secondary is terrible. So I think they should be 2-2 right now. Dolphin game, they should have put up double digits in the Dolphins. It was embarrassing how they lost that game. It was just completely self-inflicted. I liked Tanner Angstrom. I like how I'll make another point here with Tanner Angstrom and the Jets and why I feel like this new regime, to Nick's credit, needs more time to become more cohesive or cohesive with each other. I really feel that we're not giving Darren Muji enough blame for the current roster. No one's talking about this, but I really feel like you didn't beef up the wide receiving room at all. You have no wide receiver two. You don't have any weapons really for Justin Fields outside of Garrett Wilson. Brought in two receiving tight ends in Stone Smart and Woods, who you don't even use. However, you can also use them in the running game and open up the play action game with Justin Fields while teams are stacking the box because they have to respect the run. You can slide out a Woods, you can slide out a Stone Smart and kind of make it easier for Justin Fields to use his feet and get quick throws out. I saw this more in the Pittsburgh game and towards the end of the Dolphin game where they were utilizing the hash marks and they were hitting guys open in the field in space to get the easy yards and to create the third and second and manageables. When you get into third and longs with Justin Fields, it's never going to be a good situation unless he can use his feet like he did miraculously last game, which is not going to happen most of the time. You can't rely on that. You have to build around what
That's
you
one
have.
thing he's been consistent, though, with in his career.
Going to the
He's
defense.
been pretty consistent with being able to break big runs.
He has, but again, you can't rely on that every game because it's a 50-50. He's going to throw one. He might take one like he did. I do like Justin Fields if they can mold around him, and I'll get to that point next. But I want to hit. Actually, I'll go there right now. Since we're offense. From watching that game, Nick, you were at the game the other night too. I wonder if you saw the same thing. Justin Fields is not the reason why we lost at all. I won't even put that on him. However, I feel like Justin Fields is very close to becoming the perfect style quarterback for this type of generation of football. What he's missing, and I saw it a couple of times. And again, I don't think the Jets' protection was the greatest last game. Actually, I think they struggled a little bit there. Not terribly, but he didn't have the most time in the world. He was under duress sometimes. But there were a lot of times where Justin Fields was missing very easy, wide open reads in between the hashes to get the quick 5, 6, 7 yard gains and quickly looking to get out of the pocket before he went to his second read. I don't know if that's Angstrom, if he needs to work on making it a little bit easier for him, giving him half the field, scheme something up with that. But if they can work on that with him, getting that going more and just continuing the drive and not worrying about, the big play or taking him out of his comfort zone, I think the Jets can sustain drives. I think they can score points. I think that they can keep the defense off the field. I really do. I
I would
think
like to
Justin
see
Fields
him
is
on,
close
just
to
to add to that
becoming
real
that
quick.
kind of guy.
I would like to see him get rid of the ball sooner in the first half. Like get to your safety release sooner. If you're looking downfield, don't be like dancing ready to run. Be in the pocket, ready to throw. There's a lot of times that the running back flaring out is wide open. Look upfield, your guy's not there, throw it to Brees. Let Brees be one-on-one in the flat. Like, can we do that? Have we run a screen pass yet this year? Like, you have Fields who can run. Get him the snap, get him running one way, and then throw it back the other way.
Passes.
Hey, Burke, is
So I was
Neil
gonna
your
say
hero?
Go ahead.
Is Neil one of your heroes? They're
Neil is my
saying that
hero.
you
That's
have
why
more
I'm giving
points than Neil.
He is. That's why I was just gonna say I'm gonna give 14 takes to make in honor of my buddy Neil. Someone throw me in the hole if they have a problem with it. No worries. So hey, so listen, and Neil's a blue blood, man. I love Neil. He's been doing this for a long time, so he wasn't wrong about most of the things he said, also Jake or Nick, you can answer this. Nick, exactly what you said. Where is the screen game? They said they were going to do more of this and get the screen game more involved with Brees Hall. I don't think they did it. I think they threw Brees one screen, or maybe it was a
the
run
tight
that
end
was
screen in the
towards the Dolphins
preseason game
sideline.
against Green Bay, and we never went back to it. We've never run the screen. We scored a 25-yard touchdown pass to a tight end in the preseason game, and we've never done it again.
Correct. I feel like if we pull up more double tights and show more of a 12 personnel style offense, like we're going to run, teams are going to have to honor that. And at that point, you're bullying the ball down their throats. Now you have a dual threat quarterback that can slide out and have a one read or run, or two reads or run, maybe a corner and a flare out. You know what's crazy? The Jets, like you said, Nick, they have a Brees, a Braylon, I hope he gets healthy, and Isaiah Davis in space that can go get a couple of yards or break one. You also have another guy, base, who's a threat, who can be his own threat, in Justin Fields, who's almost like his own screen guy. And another guy that I want to get involved in the screen more, or at least in space more, is Aaron Smith. I know that they had concerns about him with his hands, dropping the ball. That's why they're not putting him on punt return or kick return, Jake, by the way, which I agree with you. They should try it, but I think that's been the hindrance of that. They just want a guy securely to catch punts back there who they know is not going to fumble or drop. They've struggled with that already. But I think that
was Isaiah Williams
stopping them from putting Aaron Smith back correct. And yeah, exactly. I think that's what's been stopping them, putting Aaron Smith back there, and also the guy who I wanted over Gibson, who was put on the practice squad. That was the main issue as to why they didn't bring him up. It's secure hands catching the ball. Yeah, I think that, like I said, I'm gonna go to the defensive side of the ball. I think that they should utilize those tight ends that they got in free agency more. I think it's going to help them disguise the passing game within the running style of play they want to do, and give Fields more options to think less, get out of the pocket, and cause more teams to spread out, okay, and create more one-on-one steps. But they have been running the ball. They can run the ball. Look, to Nick's point, Jake, and I agree with you, the Jets are the Jets. They're going to jet, but they really are in all these games. Last year, I believe that last year's regime or last year's roster had this year's coaching staff and offensive play calling with running the ball more, we'd be 3-1 right now, because Aaron Rodgers can make those simple reads and make those throws and keep us in. And I do believe our defense was much better last year. I'll get to that point too. But
how many more
do
points,
believe that
wow, this is quite the call.
I'm very analytical, but I really hate to put all this on Aaron Glenn. He does deserve blame. He is the head coach. I think Wilkes is much more to blame, and I'll get to that in a second. But I think Muji deserves equally as much blame. If it was more on Muji, I don't know if it was Aaron Glenn and Muji making these decisions as far as the roster goes. Maybe Jake, you could tell me more about that, what you know. But like I said, I believe that this is a culture change that has to be done. And I believe there's also a bunch of core players on this roster who are just not good football players. Michael Clemens being one of them. Michael Clemens, they took based off of profile and attributes. It was already tested. It's been experimented. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work. What you see is what you get from Michael Clemens. He's a good athlete. He's not going to be that kind of guy. He's not going to be a heady player. To Neil's point of his call before, and I think it was Joe, the guy in the car, I forgot his name. And I'm going to defense now.
Oh
The
my
Jets
God. Burkinator, I love you. I got to be off by 12:30. I have a radio hit. So I can't call back the afternoon show and we'll do the defensive side of things.
His
He's a
internet's
great
bad.
caller.
He might not even know that he's off the call yet. He might just still be going.
Yeah. I
Good
love you,
point.
Burkinator. No, they're all great points. Honestly, I sincerely mean that. I will get to them on the afternoon show for sure. But I got people on hold. I want to get to them before we end the show because I do have a radio appearance I'm doing in 20 minutes. Let's see. Bino says Jacob Nicholas shines. Nick at Night is must see TV. Go Jets. I agree. Big fan of the Nick Shine program. All right, home stretch here. Then the raffle. Last chance to get in if you want to win a signed Joe Klecko jersey. Here we go. Pork in the Morning is next. What's up, Pork?
Hi, Jake. How you doing? Disappointing loss the other day, right? I mean, we looked like crap. I mean, it was a terrible game. I just can't wrap my head around how bad this guy coaches. He sucks, in my opinion.
Which coach?
Aaron Glenn, the guy at the top. I mean, Wilkes really sucks, but some of the decisions he makes are fucking asinine. I mean, are very asinine to me. Just all around. Like, why are you putting Braylon Allen in on a kickoff return when he gets hurt? I don't remember him returning kicks before. There's other guys that I think would be a better returning a kick than him. Why is he on our kick return team at all? I don't get it, but I'm not the head coach. And just the pre-snap penalties, all that other bullshit, all that other discipline shit where he said, "Oh, I'm holding people accountable," this and that. When you have that many, penalties and missed tackles and all that shit, that comes down to coaching, execution, practice. Something's going on that shit ain't going right. You know what I mean? When you're in tune, it's like an orchestra. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing football well, all the strings are perfect. And when you're not, it sounds terrible. It tastes like McDonald's mixed with sludge and cheap wine. And that's what they look like playing. They stink that bad.
It has to get better, Pork. I mean, it's been bad. I think Glenn needs more time than 4 games, but 4 games in, it has not looked good.
Whoa.
And if it doesn't get better, this team's going to be one of the worst in the league.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is there's points for optimism too. I mean, there are glimpses that, these players are good. And one thing, like, I'll just give it to, like, Rex's first year. There was a point where the Jets, like, won 1 game in 2 months, in his first year. They won 1 game and, like, they lost 6 or 7 games at one point, 2, 3 in a row, So could he turn it around? He may be able to, but, at this point, I don't know, man. It's looking bleak for him. And, and it's just, there's no accountability. So, and it doesn't seem like he's going to lose his job at any point. Nobody else is. So, I get to come into work late one day, no big deal. But if I keep doing it, I'm going to do it every day. And so is everybody else. So why? That's what's going on here. You know that, right? People aren't being held accountable and nobody gives a shit. That's what it feels like to me. If you were any type of man or something, you wouldn't let this go on. If you're out there playing a combat sport, you're getting your ass kicked every fucking week. Damn it! Whoa! Are you gonna let that happen every week, man? Please. Fill your mussy, whatever you gotta do. And then come back to work and play some football. Is that what we're gonna do? No, we probably won't do that. We'll probably just be bitches again and roll over for the first 3 quarters. And then we might play a little bit when the other team has it pretty much in the wraps. It takes a miracle play on 4th down for us to get some points. And what? Nothing's going to change next week. We're playing Dallas. They might put up 50 points. Oh, well, I'm done.
Pork, love the passion, man. Hang in there. All right. If you want some positive news, because that's what I'm going to try and do for you. If you count moral victories, we're 2-2. I've seen a lot of callers get angry and scream. That was the most unexpected yelling and screaming I've ever experienced. That the passion just happened. It was very unexpected there.
Even volcanoes are warning that they're going to erupt.
Pork, I love it, man. God, this team just needs to win a game. It's terrible what the Jets do to our fans.
I think the last two callers deserve a raffle.
Pork, you're going to get a raffle. As is Burkinator, who earlier gifted a 20 spot to get in the raffle too. Pork of the morning, he's getting one. Burkinator getting an extra one. Beautiful. How about this from our guy Jets Forever 2? He says Aaron Glenn's the new Joe Judge, and the GM seemed arrogant without proving anything. Was planning to go to the London game, but honestly might give my tickets away. Damn. Well, first off, Jets Forever 2, thank you for supporting the show, and you will be in the raffle for 10 with this. Here's the thing. He's not Joe Judge yet, but a lot of Giants fans know Joe Judge talked a lot of the same talk that Glenn talked, and it just never got really better for the Giants. And ultimately, he did him in, and he was fired. We can't say that about Glenn, but they got to win games, man. Like, there's got to be some real improvement here. Like, a win over the Cowboys when no one's going to pick you would go a long way to, like, show us, okay, like, short week, you responded from a terrible performance where you beat yourself. Go out there and show us something. But until they do it, I can't pick them. And that's the problem. As far as the London game, I don't think they have a prayer of winning that game. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be tough. But to anyone going, London's great city.
Coming in.
Do we?
All right. Jermaine Johnson is now day-to-day, and so is Nwangu. According to Aaron Glenn, Braylon Allen's knee is pretty serious, but he's getting a second opinion.
Carter out this week. Jermaine and Wanu day-to-day means they're probably going to play Sunday. That's good news.
Yeah, they went from week to week to day-to-day. So as long as there's no setbacks, they should be back. And they haven't mentioned Brownlee yet, so maybe he's trending towards getting out there. And that would take, because I don't want to see Oliver out there. Ferguson will destroy Oliver. I'd rather see Brownlee getting on a tight end on the play actions and the rollouts.
I agree. That's good news for the most part. Michael Carter being out this week, though, is not. But I said a good chance Carter's likely out Sunday. Oh, we'll probably see Brownlee make his debut. Did Glenn give an update on that? I'm not seeing it.
Not yet. I got the tweets coming up. Nothing yet.
I'm looking at that. Couple super chats. AZ says, I think we know Glenn ain't it. Bad coaching. It's 4 games, man. He hasn't been it so far, though. I can't disagree there.
Welcome.
Adam said,
Welcome. No. It's only 4 games. Welcome.
No. But you're not being critical at all. Like, I think there's a happy medium here. I think it's alarming how they've looked. At the same time, I'm not going to sit here and scream fire Aaron Glenn 4 games in. The whole point of our conversation was how much is the coach responsible for what we have seen so far? And then people wanted to bring it to, is Aaron Glenn going to be one and done? And I said if they win 3 games or less, that's a legit conversation to have. But I'm not going to have that conversation yet because I do think they'll win some games here. I don't think of this week, but
yeah.
They better.
Brownlee will practice this week, and there's a chance he'll play, Glenn said.
All right. Bino says, someone check on Neil's dog. Burkinator, he just called in, had 1,000,000 points, and says, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but I want that Klecko jersey. Make it happen, my guy. Good luck, Burkinator. And I'll tell you what, I don't think you were off on a tangent. You just had very long points. But that's why I do 2 2-hour shows a day for diehard Jet fans like you. So you call back in the afternoon. Neil says Burkinator made twice the points I normally do. Well done, Neil. All right. Today's closer is the Lup Man. Then we'll raffle away this jersey because Nick and I got to run. Luppy, what do you got for us?
How you doing, Nick? How you doing, Jake? How's it going, guys? Really wasn't going to call in. I take care of my sick wife, but I got a knock on the door, Jake. So someone told me to call. I just want to say thank you. This
now,
is
Luppy,
awesome.
When did you win that jersey exactly?
Yesterday.
Oh, and it arrived already today before noon. Find me a content creator. Find me a human that gets
Nobody.
prizes to their listeners as fast as I do, damn it.
Nobody. That's why it was like a sign. I had to call in, Jake. I had to call. Yesterday, I definitely couldn't call in because you saw what kind of shape I was in Monday night. This team will do it to you. I mean, the team did it to me. I mean, it did it to Nick. Nick saying that Clemens had a good game. I mean, that's just what he's grasping at.
Come
This
on,
is
that
what
was
it's doing to us. I know, but you brought it out there. It's just that everybody is just.
He didn't commit a personal foul, so he's improved.
That's a good day. Yes, professional football player.
Yeah, that's it, baby. The bar is low.
That's
And
what I'm
kudos
saying.
to
You can.
Luppy. We can understand every word you're saying coherently tonight. Much
Today
real
you can,
quick,
yes.
Luppy,
Yes.
I have to address a comment in the chat here. It is
Yes.
wildly inappropriate for a football show. MC May says, "We heard you were quick, Jake."
Calm your freaky down.
Yes, but that is not relevant to this call with Luppy. Continue, Luppy.
Yeah, but if he's bringing stuff like this, give me as quick as he wants, right?
You always want to be quick, baby.
Yeah, it's great. So we can beat a dead horse. Everybody knows that all facets of the ball were bad. I think the thing that's upsetting us more than anything that this coaching staff didn't do their job is because we got worse. We got worse against a bad team. It wasn't a good team that was flustering us. It seemed like that we just dropped the ball on everything that we could have done better. We didn't get better that week, and that's really what's upsetting everybody. It's like if one of those turnovers were not happening. I mean, we didn't get better. We got worse. We got worse as the game went on too. It's just that's coaching. It's coaching on field. It's coaching in game, and that's really where everybody's upset. And that's why everybody wants the coaching staff held accountable, not just the players, but at this point, I mean, they got to do something. Bring somebody in, talk to somebody. I know they're probably talking to other people. I heard you guys saying about that yesterday. Maybe they're already talking to Parcells, whoever they're going to talk to. But get somebody, get one of these alumni in to help them. Do something. Don't be prideful. I mean, at this point, 0-4, when you're going against an 0-3 Miami team that we should, even my daughter, who really doesn't watch football, says, how did you guys lose to the Miami Dolphins? It just makes us very upset and pissed off that you thought that maybe all this arrogance would lead to something on Aaron Glenn's part, and something snapped. I mean, somebody else also brought up a good point that maybe it's too much, too focused. They're too nervous back there, but whatever it is, I mean, come on, guys, be men. Be men. I mean, you see the passion out of Pork. I had to pee my pants a little when he started yelling. I didn't expect that, but it's just everybody here is flustered, frustrated. I wish the players would take it half as much as us fans do, and really focus and do something about it. That's really all we're asking for as fans.
Luppy, great call. And look, you said, be a man, be men. There's nobody more manly than this guy, and hopefully they use him as an inspiration.
Beast. Gas right now.
Would you agree with that, Nick? Nobody's more manly than the Beast?
He's one of one.
That he is, Nick Sean. That he is. All right, I'm counting the entries for the raffle right now. We got a lot of people in. We got a Klecko jersey, which is an awesome prize for a daily raffle. Before I do that, I do want to showcase this. If you missed me saving Neil from going to the hole, here's a quick recap of what it looked like. There was a man by the name of Mr. Gorilla Salad who tried to send Neil to the hole, to which I said, I'm saving your ass, Neil. And then Spencer Green said, not so fast, Gorilla. You're going to the hole. And guess what? That's what happened. I thought this was you at first, to be honest, though, that I was in my arms, not Neil, but this is a great photo. So shout out to whoever sent this to Nick Shine, who then sent it to me.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if he wants anonymity.
Anyway, that's a wonderful image. On that note, it's time to spin the Wheel of Champions, shall we? We're going to give away a signed Joe Klecko jersey right now.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all on the line right now. If you win, you have to email me your name and address, asmanjake@gmail.com, so I can officially order the jersey for you. Only one can win. And the winner is Mike Perez. Congratulations to Mike. He's been a long-time viewer of the show. I believe he entered the raffle with this super chat here. He says, blame me, Neil. I have a fever, and my only prescription is more humps. I need more humps. If there's ever been a comment that accurately describes the madness of this show, it would be that one. So I will deserve to win.
What I learned today is that humping on this channel leads to victory.
Yes. And until Neil humps a rival's jersey before a game, I fear we might not win a game.
Now, if Mike puts that jersey up on his wall, he needs to put a picture of the dog humping the pillow in like the lower corner of it, because that's what led to the jersey. So congrats to the dog on the sex, and congrats to Mike on the jersey.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Nick Shine Show. We will link his channel in the chat right now and make it easy for you guys to click and subscribe. You could join me and Nick at Tailgate Joe for the Carolina game. Tailgate starts at 9 a.m. Lot E26. We have all the info in the Discord for this, but it's $55. It includes all you can eat. It's BYOB because New Jersey State Police cracked down on any ticketed tailgate events with alcohol, but we'll be providing at least some alcoholic beverages there for some people, but it's BYOB. You could Venmo Nick, PayPal or Cash App him. You see the info is there on the screen. Nick Shine, thank you as always for your time, and I think we could agree on this. We want the Jets to win a game on Sunday.
Oh, just win. We won't even know what to do with ourselves if we win. That's where the fan base is at right now. You know, I know people are down. I know people are angry. I know people want immediate change. And trust me, I do too. But I'm looking at how do we change it. I'm not going to get upset on why it doesn't work. How do we make it work is my mindset and my vision. So that's where I know I come in different from a lot of people. But trust me, I'm aggravated about it as well.
He's Nick Shine. My name is Jake Asman. Thanks for watching. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And who's doing the halftime show, Joe B?
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that? Do they ever force a damn turnover?
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.